slows. I wish that I was pretty, more pretty than reflections look tonight. The door opens and the fizzing in my beer slows. She walks by, the spinning in my head grows. When the door opens and the fizzing in my beer slows, as she walks by, oh, she walks by, the spinning in my head grows. Watch it go. The door opens and it slows.
We are electric men. We've got electric hands. So come stand beside us and realize that the thing we must do is inspire. We're coming for you. We're coming for you.
Closing sale, everything must go, nothing left behind, no wild oats to sow. It's out of my way, I'm done now. You see, you took the meat, but not my bones. Now throw away your key. One foot out the door, persistent, You are frozen in time. Oh, I love you slips out of my mind. So sail, set sail, a little bird. Just go and set sail. Set sail, set sail, a little bird. Just go and set sail. I'll take my ship away as the storm rolls in. I hope the wind is with me, and I hope you've learned that the pirate within me is sworn to the truth. Live or die by this rule. Something old and something new is the treasure within me. As sad as it seems, you will come to know what it all means to me. Set sail, little bird. Just go and set sail. Set sail, set sail, little bird. You just go now and set sail. Some pictures and some memories, ones I can't forget, on the crest of my black heart. You best not forget that the pirate never loses. He always collects one way or another. Now you can clear up all your regrets of the time you set sail with that pirate from the sky. You'll remember him until that day that you die. Set sail, little bird. Now come on, just set sail. Set sail, little bird. Now I want you to set sail. Set sail, oh, little bird. Now I want you to set sail. Don't forget to lose your mind tonight. Just watch me. Hello. Don't you think about responsibilities. Just feel what you want. Feel what you want tonight. I want you to say how you feel. I want you to tell me I'm no good. We'll send you on your way if you say so. You try to, but you see me staring back at you. I'm staring back at you. So have another dance with me, my dear. Move your hips like this. It's clear I'm what you need. As a tear falls down, I want you to say how you feel. I want you to tell me I'm no good. just walk to me, my dear. Look inside me and it's clear I'm a better man than him. I'm a better man than him. Then time stops. I want you to say how you feel. I want you to tell me I'm no good. Well, don't you look back, you will miss me. Don't look back, I'm standing under the street light at night. Don't you look back, try to forget. Yeah. So just walk to me, my dear. Look inside me and it's clear I'm a better man than him. I'm a better man than him. Then time stops. It's the same road as before, and I wonder who I'll see this time. Just to touch the water and swing through the trees. Home is at memory away. Take me home. Take me home. Take me home. Take me home. Come to think of it, I've never felt so free. My tunes are a blaring, consuming that mountain breeze. Makes me so grateful to be alive. Home is a memory away. Take me home. Take me home. Take me home.
Take me home. Take me home.
Please take me home. Come on. Please take me home. Please take me home.
All right, my dudes, I cannot wait any longer. We are live, finally. This is the first episode of the official Pangburn show. This strange-looking individual with the strange glasses on above my head. This is Andy Rovier. This kid's got talent, let me tell you. But he's the new co-host of the Pangburn show. This will be a weekly show, Tuesdays and Thursdays to start off. And then eventually, once I can afford Andy's expensive ass, we can start doing more episodes per week. Andy, how's it going, man?
I'm having a panic attack.
Okay, talk us through it. How's your breathing?
I think it stopped.
You and I should somehow try to trigger a panic attack at the same time, so we can both experience the panic.
Yeah,
I wonder
that sounds like something friends do. Sounds really fun.
I wonder what that would do to the content on here. Eventually, by the end of it, we would be both anti-vaxxers, or as they say in the soft language of vaccine hesitancy. This is the kind of thing, and I don't know what you think about this, Andy, but vaccine hesitancy. George Carlin does an amazing bit on how through the ages, human beings have softened language. You know, it used to be shell shock, and then now it's like PTSD. But yeah, like, you know, I wanted to get into COVID-19 today. And I wanted to talk about like the soft language of, you know, a lot of people going around, they might not be like anti-measles vaccine or anti-whatever vaccine, but they're currently anti-COVID-19 vaccine. There's a lot of this. And I'm not just hearing it from, normally the anti-vaxxers are going to be coming from this camp of people who are also like sucked into QAnon and like Pizzagate and shit. But I wonder, like, why is this happening? To me, the scientific consensus is clear on the COVID-19 vaccines. And when I say scientific consensus, go to Wikipedia to attempt to understand what scientific consensus actually is. Scientific consensus is not a popular vote from, they do a poll of scientists around the world. Scientific consensus is based on demonstrable data, claims that have been demonstrated. So I've also seen this thing about how people are confusing scientific consensus with scientific or scientists engaging in some kind of popular vote to say, okay, we think this is consensus or something. What do you think about this, Andy? Do you have any thoughts?
I think a lot of it, this is what my initial hesitancy about it was, not to be guilty of using soft language, but I think a lot of
you're a soft guy. Let's be.
Oh, okay. Well, don't get on my bad side, Travis.
Oh, I've seen that. I don't want that.
But my initial suspicions, and I think the suspicions people had and still have with this, is based on the circumstances surrounding it. Like, it doesn't seem like your average run-of-the-mill vaccine. Like, it doesn't seem like just an ordinary string of events that led to this vaccine. And
dude, you're using the
COVID and what happened.
You're using the perfect language. A lot of people are relying on their emotion of like something seems wrong or something seems different. People go around saying things like new tech. Well, this is new tech. We don't know what it could do. Fucker, we've been working on this tech for 50 years. A lot of people don't know this. This technology, mRNA vaccines have been in development for 50 years. This is not new tech. It's been refined. We know a lot about it. People have been administered mRNA vaccines. Late 90s, 2013 trial. Like, this has been happening. But people don't want to search for that information to try and see, how much we might know about this or how long it's been around. A lot of people get hung up on this time thing. They're like, oh, how could they have rushed this thing so fast? The time. Well, if you actually look at when the whole world chips in and government bodies say unlimited resources, go ahead, and all of those bureaucratic things that usually get in the way and make these things last 4 or 5 years before rollout, those things are eliminated so you can do things very quickly. A lot of people think that time is a necessary element with vaccines, like a certain amount of time, and people just choose it arbitrarily. They think that it's you need a certain amount of time in order to be able to deem a vaccine safe. That's false. That's a myth. And it doesn't take much, if someone wants to go out there and look at, thousands of different virologists talking about this and why that's a myth, they can go ahead. But yeah, anyways, I've been engaging in some frustrating conversations about, vaccine hesitancy and people afraid of allowing their children to get vaccinated. The scientific consensus is that the vaccine is safe for children and for people, unless your doctor, unless there's indication as to some kind of medical indication that would lead a doctor to believe that a pre-existing health condition might make the vaccine harmful for you. And look, I'm not saying that COVID-19 is this big scary fucking thing that's going to come and fucking kill you. COVID-19 has a very, very low, death rate.
Whoa,
go
hold
ahead.
on there, Travis. You're starting to sound like a conspiracy theorist.
I've crossed the line. Look, I'm not saying that people should be running around fucking buying into this fucking fear-mongering about COVID-19. I'm saying that the vaccine is an extra layer of defense against this potentially deadly virus. It's a technology that you should just embrace and engage in. It's not the boogeyman. It's not changing your DNA. It's not doing all these things that some people think it is. It's a good piece of medical technology. Take advantage of it. Don't let your ideology get in the way of your kids having vaccines. This is the same thing that happened for a very long time with measles vaccines, where parents weren't getting their children vaccinated because they thought that the measles vaccine caused autism or some form of it, which of course was just nonsense. But people at that time, people are using, the Joe Rogan episode with Malone and saying, look at what Malone had to say. That was the same thing that was going on with the measles vaccine, where they found their champion expert and they said, this guy's telling us that there's some correlation between vaccines and autism. But guys, you really have to, if you really want to learn, there's some great channels out there. I'm going to promote MedCram, MEDCRAM, MedCram. If you want to learn, if you want to see what students are learning based on scientific consensus in medicine, if you want to become a student of medicine, go for fucking free. Go over to MedCram. It's a YouTube channel. You're gonna get the detailed analysis. You're gonna get drawn charts as they're explaining. You're gonna get animation. You're gonna get experts in virology speaking about the finer details of this stuff. I'm not a virologist, but I find it fascinating the amount of information there is. This is not a conversation that can go on with lack of detail. Technical scientific fields require detail in conversation. You cannot have a vague conversation about the efficacy of a vaccine or something. Like, you need to know the details, okay? So get out there. The details are available, and get educated. It's fun. Anyway, Andy, do you have any thoughts on that? I'm bull guarding.
Well, what I am curious about is I have heard people talk about we don't know the long-term effects.
Right.
And I guess technically we don't, but I'm not sure because you said it takes you don't need a long amount of time for a vaccine to be approved, right?
Yeah, I mean, in a normal setting, last I read, it's like about 5 years. But the amount of, if you take away all the bureaucratic steps and all that shit, and you have the whole government support and all the money in the world, then you can literally shave like 4.5 years off of that. Like there's someone who did a really, really great piece on why corners were not cut for the vaccine. I'm going to find that article. I posted it a few times. I'll post it for you guys, but it does exist on our Discord server. Please join our Discord server. I'm going to post the Discord link right now, actually. One important thing to note, this show is not going to be happening on the Pangburn main channel for now. The channel we're on right now, it's not going to be happening on here. Make sure you guys drop a like when you get in, by the way. But it's not going to be happening on here because we are not yet remonetized on this channel. So make sure you subscribe to our other channel, the Pangburn Offensive. That's where this show is going to be happening on a regular basis. And of course, we now have shows happening every day, different things, group conversations, more smaller group conversations. Andy and I will have a guest on every day. 2 hours into the episode. These will be 4-hour episodes. So at 4 p.m. each day, we'll be joined by a guest. Sometimes it'll be a Discord server member. Sometimes it'll be a famous intellectual. Who knows who's going to show up? I believe we have our good friend and show host, Mace Starwalk, joining us today. Hello, my name is Mace Starwalk.
Yes, I look very much forward to speaking with him.
I love that guy, man. I popped in. You know how Doc does his we have this guy Doc Herbert, I forget his other, but he does these quizzes. Like he'll like sign in, people be in the middle of a conversation, be like, all right, hey Travis, I got a quiz for you. Question 1. But I popped in when him and Mace are having a conversation. It was like the best thing I've ever heard. Anyways, COVID-19, my hope is that you all get vaccinated if your doctor deems that it's safe for you. It's a the mRNA vaccines are a good piece of technology, and I think your kids should get vaccinated as well. So far I don't see any harm in getting vaccinated, and I hope you do. And again, with regards to the time that is required in order to make sure that there's no long-term issues with this thing, we have no medical indication to suggest that there are. If anything does, and again, keep in mind, do some research on the history of mRNA vaccines. These have been in development for 50 years. And we have had human trials in I believe it was 2013 and earlier. So, just get outside. If you're in this bubble where you're like, whatever is said on the Joe Rogan Experience is right. If you're sucked into this bubble, step outside that bubble a little bit and go to like what actual virologists who are working in the field or people who are developing the vaccines, go in there. And then if you find yourself feeling like, well, there might be some kind of crazy shit going on, some kind of conspiracy where they're trying to hurt us or they're just trying to make money or something like that, go find some other virologists, some other people to see what they're saying. And then if you find yourself saying like, well, maybe they're in on it, you're likely suffering from a terrible, affliction of cynicism. Yeah, go ahead, Andy.
But Travis, is it impossible that they all are in on it?
It's not impossible. Look, I'm willing to grant that it's possible. There's a big fucking conspiracy happening. They're just trying to make money, and they want to kill you or something worse. Like they want you to grow a third arm out of your ass or something like that. And maybe you want that, so take the vaccine.
No, dude, never again. Never again.
So there's my little rant. Oh, and I wanted to say, like, people like Jordan Peterson have been promoting a lot of vaccine hesitancy on their Twitter. A lot of other famous people. You gotta understand the fire that you're playing with here. You might have some elderly people, 65 plus, that might be convinced not to get the vaccine. I mean, these are the people who are really at risk of death, right? People who are 65 plus. The stuff you say on Twitter might convince those people, those elderly people, not to get vaccinated against this, deadly thing that's potentially deadly to them. Be more clear on your messaging. If your messaging is that no one should be buying into these vaccines or boosters or whatever, then your message is being heard clear. But if your message is that, elderly people should still get this, but I don't see, any reason why young people should get this, fucking be clear about that. Because you might be leading you might be fear-mongering against, you might be fear-mongering yourself when you think you are, trying to fight the fear-mongering. You might be fear-mongering some elderly into not getting the vaccine that they may desperately need. So let's be clear with our message and understand the power that you are yielding. I retweeted one of Jordan's tweets. If you want to see, I'm not on Twitter much. It's a fucking toxic platform, but I'm at the Pangburn on Twitter whenever I do tweet. But
in YouTube isn't.
Let's be careful with our. John Boy says word choice, specificity, and accuracy is very key. Yeah, because look, someone might see one sentence and say, that one sentence that Jordan Peterson said, that convinced me, that was the big turning point for me. And it's like, is that what you want? Do you really want 65 plus year old people not getting vaccinated for COVID-19? I don't think that's what Jordan Peterson wants. Correct me if I'm wrong, but some of his messaging is look, he's an important intellectual figure and a lot of people value what he has to say. Be careful out there, folks. Be clear. Let's get some clarity going. Anything on that?
He says he's very careful with his words. So
right.
Maybe those are the exact words he wanted to say. Maybe Travis.
Well, here's one.
Maybe he wants old people to die.
See, I don't believe that. But
probably not, but
yeah, but so like right around Christmas time, I saw a tweet where Justin Trudeau, who is our ballless, nutless leader,
the dickless wonder,
the dickless wonder. No, I say that because he's just such a pushover in every all discourse, man.
He's the leader of Canada.
Fuck you. Yes.
I'm not your guy, buddy.
I'm not your guy, bro. But Justin Trudeau had tweeted out, get your booster, get vaccinated. And Jordan's response retweet that got so many likes and retweets over my dead body. Come on, man. Like,
that I wasn't I didn't think it would be that level of passion.
Look, I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna pull it up right now just to make sure I am not strawmanning or lying about what Jordan said. I have to pull it up because I found it to be quite unbelievable.
I think he's getting more more melodramatic as his career has gone.
He's been a pretty dramatic guy, right? He's always been that way. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and I like that about him.
That's true. Yeah. No, I like that too.
Okay, here we go. And this was my Oh, yeah, I forgot an important part of this. Justin Trudeau says, I quote, "If you are taking care of some last minute Christmas shopping this week, here's something else you can add to your list: a booster. If you're eligible for one but haven't gotten it yet, please do so now. And if you don't have your first or second dose, now's the time to get it. Jordan Peterson retweets, "Up yours, Justin Trudeau. Seriously, you'd have to kill me first."
Up
yours,
Justin
Justin Trudeau. Seriously.
You know what? At first, Travis, I was like, maybe he shouldn't have said that, but no, he should have. I stand with Jordan on that one. I agree with the first sentiment.
Look, and Jeffrey DeMattos, Dr. Doolittle, says, "Trav, I think you may be conflating anti-vax with anti-mandate." I'm not. I haven't gotten to mandate yet. I'm on vax right now. We are going to move to mandate after this. So,
but he didn't mention.
But
mandate.
in this is to do with the vaccine. Up yours, Justin Trudeau. Seriously, you'd have to kill me first. Justin Trudeau is promoting the booster, and that you should go get your first and second dose. That's what
seems.
So, yeah, go ahead.
That seems so aggressive for Jordan. This is a weirard thing that he
I don't
said.
think no Jordan. He goes right for the jugular, man.
But maybe I mean, I don't know. It's been a while since I was a real fan of Jordan and I watched his videos, but you would see him where he's in an interview and people are conducting an awful interview and they're doing that. So what you're saying is, and eventually he'll crack and it'll be like, okay, just responding to a tweet from Justin Trudeau. Maybe Justin Trudeau's presence just really annoys Jordan Peterson.
I think so. I think
would make sense.
I think Justin Trudeau is basically the anti-Peterson. I think those guys are literally the villain and anti-villain of each other.
Jordan Peterson is male.
People, and then Justin Trudeau is people kind.
That actually, it's interesting that he said mentioned Christmas. Don't you know? Not everybody celebrates Christmas, Justin Trudeau. Why would you assume that?
Right. So okay. So Justin Trudeau says that. Jordan says that. Jordan gets. Okay, let's see how popular this was. Okay, this is hilarious. Okay, so Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, gets 366 quote tweets, 686 retweets, and 6,443 likes. Jordan Peterson's tweet gets 4,291 retweets, 1,469 quote tweets, and almost 30,000 likes.
I mean, he's definitely cooler than him.
This is not.
Admit that.
Yeah, I agree. Jordan's way cooler than Justin. I mean, I've broken bread with Jordan. I haven't broke bread with Justin, but I would, something tells me that I would have a hard time saying anything at a table with Justin Trudeau or making a joke without him being like, "Well, you see, Travis, this could really harm people if they were to hear what you're saying." He seems like it would be really hard to make him laugh. But okay, now here's even
just dress up in blackface. He loves that.
Okay, here's even. Can you imagine just showing up in blackface to lunch with Jordan or with Justin? Okay, here we go. And then here's my brilliant. Oh, by the way, here's the action I received. I got 1 retweet, 1 quote tweet, and 2 likes. And here comes me with my big bomb drop. So I responded to Jordan and I said, certain 65 plus members of the public may now be inspired not to get vaccinated after reading your response. Please yield your power more carefully. The vaccines are very important to the vulnerable. I imagine you want the elderly to get vaxxed, but I'm not so sure now. I just wait, let's see what Jim is saying here. Jim says it's not aggressive. He is calling out things that lead to authoritarianism, the implications behind the forcing vaccination. No, this wasn't about forcing vaccinations.
It doesn't sound like he mentioned any kind of mandate. He literally said, albeit in an annoying beta cutesy way.
Yeah, you guys are being way too.
Don't you guys really got to get that booster, and
Yeah,
Didn't sound,
like he's
I mean,
saying,
it's
well,
coming from a
while you're out Christmas shopping.
Yeah.
I wonder if I
mean-
can do a Justin Trudeau. While you're out Christmas shopping, make sure you throw in a booster, like all Canadians should.
Yeah, just squeeze your testicles really hard, and you should sound like him.
Yeah, so I totally reject what Jim and Jeff are getting at here. Justin Trudeau was just reminding people that they should go get vaxxed. That's not authoritarianism, man. It's an open platform. So people can either look. Jordan has more power than Justin Trudeau has on this platform. Who's the authoritarian, by the way? So
I mean, he definitely has the crowd with him in this interaction.
Yeah,
And then you're over here, always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
So yeah, I'm my thing here is just to be really careful with your messaging here. You might lead an elderly person into being afraid of the vaccines unnecessarily. By the way, the demonstrations of the demonstrations thus far has not overturned scientific consensus. The vaccines are safe. The vaccines are safe. There has been no demonstration that's overturned that yet. Some people have shown that, in rare cases, vaccines can lead to some issues. And the CDC leads this, or the CDC lists this on their website, by the way. But these are extremely rare cases vaccine deaths or complications. Very, very rare. Now let's put on the trucker hat and talk about mandates. Trying to mandate a vaccine and force people to put shit in their body is wrong. My moral foundation is maximize well-being for myself and those around me. A person cannot be well if they are enslaved, if they are being forced to do things against their will with regards to their own bodily autonomy, right? And I'm talking specifically about, think about what that would look like to say like what if essential services started requiring you to be vaccinated, like policing, like ambulance rides, going to the grocery store. This stuff can't happen. We can't allow people to die because of their ideological underpinnings. We can't. Andy, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think even if the mandate was something that should be done from a moral perspective, which, like you said, it is not, from a pragmatic perspective, that just wouldn't be a good. People aren't going to go for that. They're gonna fight that.
Yeah.
Like people are afraid of that already, and if that starts to really happen, people are going to resist that. And everybody who's been suspicious about this is going to feel totally emboldened and be like, see, they're out to get us. Well,
and I've heard some really radical pro-vaccine, like pro-medical science health people say, like, well, we lock people up who are insane. Are you going to, like, people who have vaccine hesitancy, anti-vax, anti-COVID vax, are you going to lock them up because you have some new clinical indication as to them being insane because they refuse, certain medicine? Yes, they're killing us.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, no, it's a look, and I have to say something about mandates. COVID-19 policy will take over everything with regards to what the voter cares about in new upcoming elections. Wherever there's a vote to be cast in any kind of democracy, you are going to have this be the number one voting issue. People don't give a fuck now about immigration. They're going to be like, what's the mask mandate? What is this mandate? What is this that your party's going to be running with? That's literally the only voting issue now. It's fucking amazing. Like, I really think that is going to be the key focus for every election, every political party that's trying to get into office, it's literally going to come down to what's your COVID policy? What's your policy for handling COVID?
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of the hot topic now.
Yeah.
Is anybody even still talking about global warming? Come on. They've moved on from that scam to the new one.
Don't get me started, man. Come at me, bro.
It's all a lie, dude. It's all part of a plan.
Yeah. Look, but you also want private businesses to be able to mandate their own policies, right? For who comes into their stores. But how far do you go? Do you allow privately owned grocery stores to do this? You can't. Like you just at some point you're going to get to a place of overreach, and I think it's important to understand where that is. I think that is what will lead to real problems if you start mandating vaccines to a level where people are feeling like they cannot survive unless they get the mandated vaccine. I worry that this is going to lead to some really bad stuff. And I don't want to see that. I want people to engage in the war of ideas on this. And I know it's getting taxing. I notice a lot of people who really, really do have a really good grasp on, what's going on scientifically, and they've kind of given up on trying to share good information and try to have conversations with people who, this is like, this anti-vax fucker deserves to die. And I'm like, no.
Oh no, that's an awful way to
you got to
do it,
keep,
because
yeah.
Because we'll just like if we started mandating, when you treat people who disagree with you aggressively, you only make them think they're correct like times two. Like now they're even more sure that you're wrong, and that maybe even now maybe they think you're in on the conspiracy.
Yeah.
And you can
look,
have that
keep having the tough conversations, you guys. It's okay to disagree. It's okay for you to disagree with me here. Give me your arguments. You can access me on our Discord server. Do I still have that link? Yeah, I'm giving you guys the link again in the chat for our Discord server. You can I'm happy to hear your arguments, and you'll get good faith engagement from me and from everyone else on our Discord server. Okay, what else we got? What else is going on in the world, Andy?
So we're moving away from COVID, because I do have something.
At least
fun
until
to say
I get
about it.
triggered again.
Okay. So.
Oh, before we go there, Andy. Sorry, before we go there, we should talk about we had a interesting program yesterday ran by John Parker. I think that's his last name. Yeah, John J. Parker, formerly known as Delta. He ran a conversation about Nietzsche's "God is dead" claim, and we had a thorough conversation about that. You can head over to the Pangburn Offensive and listen to that discussion. It was really good. I think the consensus was that in the Nietzschean sense, how he meant that, God is dead. The Enlightenment has kind of made God obsolete. I think he was right. I think the Enlightenment did do a lot to show people that there is a way to live morally without God. There were a lot of mixed perspectives on that. Very interesting conversation. I wanted to mention that, and that's every Monday. John runs a conversation, and he picks a new topic, and he's a very good host. And everyone is welcome to join us for these discussions. You get access to these. You can jump into the conversations on our Discord server, or you can simply just watch on YouTube on the Pangburn Offensive, which is our other channel. And that other channel was created, of course, because this channel was demonetized. My lawyers are still working on getting this remonetized, this channel. So all the shows will be happening on the Pangburn Offensive on YouTube until this is all settled for this channel. So, Andy. So what else is going on? How can we get out of the COVID mindset here?
Well, in in more cheery news,
Yeah.
there was a shooting. That's
Fuck.
this. This
Anyways,
was
yeah.
this was I know it's not on my usual pay grade, but this happened on November 30th,
Yeah.
and I guess thankfully it sucks that you have to say this, but thankfully only 4 people died, which is still too much, obviously.
Let me
And this
guess.
was at
Did this happen in the United States of America?
yes, this happened.
Shocking.
This did happen in If it happened in Canada, I would have rubbed it in your face so much.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
so what happened here? Lay it on us.
so basically, these parents who they sound, obviously in these situations, you probably expect maybe the home life isn't so great, and maybe the parents aren't saints. But I was a little bit surprised at what I read. So the parents bought this kid a gun, and the boy he's 15, um, and he had all these warning signs, like ridiculous warning signs. Like
Such as.
apparently he was into Nazi stuff. Like he had a Nazi coin that he kept in his room, and he would draw Nazi symbols, not in a notebook that they found, on the shopping list paper that the family uses.
Oh, dude, I think I saw this. Anyways, continue. Yeah.
Yeah, and then another layer of insanity was he tried texting his mother once about how he thought there was a ghost or a demon in the house or something. So you got a guy who thinks he's seeing things. He's fascinated with Nazism, and he also, jokes around about violence a lot. Hey, let's get him a gun. That's
Yeah.
and
So, and why? And did we find out why they got him it? Just because he really wanted one?
I don't know. I couldn't find that in the article.
Yeah. I mean, we got to be careful putting guns in the hands of people
Well, yeah, I mean,
that are showing signs of being potentially violent or. I get it from. I'm trying to put my head in head in the mindset of like an American parent, right? You're living in a gun culture. Guns are part of the culture for many people, and maybe there's a thinking that like putting a gun in the hand of your child, might help them to mature or something. It's like, oh, okay, now I'm at the age where I'm allowed to have a gun. Like there's certain responsibility that comes with this, and I'm trying to steel man the
no,
position of the parent.
but if that's the thinking that people go to, that doesn't make any sense. Like maybe if you teach them how to do it, but I don't know. But in the defense of these guys, they did. It does seem like they tried to hide the gun, and he ended up looking for it and finding it. Because they found a journal entry. This is according to his defense lawyer, where he wrote about finding where his dad hid the gun, and currently he's of course being held in jail without bond, and he was tried as an adult.
Right. And sorry, how old was he?
He's 15.
15 being tried.
And this happened back in November 30th.
Right.
No,
So,
it's just I was on the order because they reduced the bond.
and what
failed to get their $500,000 bond reduced.
and what was the name of this individual? Did they release it?
Yeah, they did, but I'm curious on like what the do you think it should be said? Like, should
Yeah,
the name
definitely.
get out there? Or...
Yeah.
Okay, well his name was Ethan Crumbley.
Ethan Crumbley. I'm gonna look this up. We also do
The parents were charged, by the way, with their son.
The parents were charged.
Yeah, the parents were. They were all charged. His
Wow.
parents, James and Jennifer, were
Oh, yeah.
charged with involuntary manslaughter.
Well, I'm gonna
Because they
add
gave him the
this.
gun.
I'm gonna add this article to the criminology tab in the Discord server. Those of you who are into criminology, true crime, I post a lot in that tab. We have a tab dedicated to that on Discord. But there's a lot of interesting cases there that I've posted about.
Yeah, and I've almost forgot to mention this. I mentioned the warning signs that came up. There was actually a warning sign that day it happened.
What happened?
2 hours before the actual shooting, I guess he had like these violent drawings that I guess someone saw and got pointed out, and his parents refused to take him home. And so then 2 hours after that.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I can imagine? Like, almost, okay, so say parents witness this. In almost all cases, right, it's not going to be something that is a sign of their kid is going to kill people.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true.
You know?
But
so it's like
when you suppose it to what happened next, and then all the stuff that happened before, and like, why did you even buy him a gun in the first place? Like, it doesn't surprise me too much that they were charged with involuntary manslaughter.
Yeah, this is like
they do have some. That does seem kind of new. I think that's kind of a newer reaction to this unfortunate phenomenon, but it doesn't surprise me too much.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, what is your take, Andy, on the gun culture in the United States? I mean, you're a U.S. citizen. I view it as I view it as a very dangerous thing for human beings to be engaging in gun culture, and for many, for the very reasons of the level of gun violence that we see in the United States and violence in general. It's up in Canada, we have a lot of red tape around getting getting a firearm and legally having a firearm, and I don't know, I when I look down in the States, I just think like the statistics of shootings and people who shoot each other in instances where if they didn't have access to the guns, they probably would have, maybe fought each other or, tried to stab each other. It's like, how many, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I do believe in, the right bear arms. I am a little bit dubious, though, that really hope I'm using that correctly. I'm a bit doubtful that if the government did really want to oppress us and really want to rise up, could the people stand up to that with guns? I mean, but either way,
well,
way, on principle, I would say a government should not restrict people's rights to own weaponry, but that should, and I think usually does, come with the stipulation of background checks, if you're an ex-criminal, if you're mentally ill. Maybe not, I'm not sure about the ex-criminal thing, but the point is, I of course don't think you should get any kind of weapon, and then no training, and no background check, and it takes 2 seconds, and that's just cool because this is America. Like, of course not.
Do you own guns?
No, I don't own guns.
Do guns scare you, or?
No, I'm not a pussy. Guns don't scare me, but I'm not a Canadian. Gun and
hey, I grew up with rifles and shotguns and not mortars or anti-aircraft guns like some people in the United States own. Like, they own their own fucking tank.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if I ever had a gun, I would want to learn how to actually use it first. Like not just have it and be like, okay, I have it. I
Yeah.
know exactly how to use it because I now own it.
Right.
But when I'm in the situation, I'll be copacetic.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, I think people should exercise serious responsibility, and people buying guns should be required to demonstrate that they know how to use them. I don't think that's really too big of a deal because it's like, with what's the harm in it? I mean, you're not being prevented, and you would only be prevented from buying a gun if you're mentally ill or something like that, and
Right.
that's I think that's already the norm in a lot of places. But I guess people see problems even with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting. Well, we can get more into guns in a bit here. Celebration of Science and Reason tour, folks. World tour is going to be kicking off in Canada, produced by Pangburn. The first two events, so April 12th will be in Montreal, and that will feature Sabine Hossenfelder and Lawrence Krauss. You can see the artwork to, I guess, your left. They're going to be having a conversation about physics, science in general, science communication. I'm sure they're going to get into vaccines and COVID as well. Natural topic to get into during a pandemic. And then we're going to be flying over to Calgary. We're going to be stopping in Alberta, which I'm really excited for. I really wanted to do an Alberta stop. So we'll be in Calgary. So all of you in Edmonton or anywhere in Alberta, I hope you come down to Calgary for this. This will be April 13th. And it will be with Lawrence and Sabine as well. And then we'll be hitting Vancouver for April 14th. And we'll be at the Queen Elizabeth Theatre downtown, and we're adding Arvin Ash to the lineup. Arvin Ash is a famous YouTuber, engineering background. So we'll have an engineer with the two physicists on stage talking about science and reason, the next step forward for humanity, all that fun stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to be releasing the video content of those conversations on this YouTube channel, so you can look forward to those conversations. As we move through the rest of Canada and down to the United States, we'll be adding different personalities along the way to join Lawrence and Sabine. So yeah, we're gonna plow through. It's gonna be hard to sell tickets during the pandemic, with the mandates and everything. I hope you guys do come out and support the events. We'll be adhering to all of the venue protocols, all of the the government protocols with regards to live events. We'll be keeping these discussions happening. Right, we gotta plow forward. We gotta continue on, and that's kind of what these discussions are all about. We can still go out in public and come together and have discussions. Life is not over because of COVID-19. Life goes on, and so do these great live discussions. So please do join us for this tour. There'll be a lot of content coming from you live the day of, behind the scenes content. Make sure you do join us on Discord, because that's one of the main ways that you're going to be able to keep up to date with what's going on. There's going to be some new Pangburn merch rolling out. So be excited for that. We'll be posting about that on all of our social media platforms. Our weekly shows are listed on our Discord server. I'm going to be releasing an image that outlines what the weekly schedule is looking like, so that you can all be informed about that. And what else do I need to get off my chest here?
You said you were coming out of the closet today. I didn't know. I don't know what that means. I'm not up on the slang.
Yes. Andy is correct. As always, Andy is the best source for facts and logic.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, let's talk about the Discord server a bit. So we spend a lot of time. We're usually in the tavern every night. We have a digital tavern on Discord, and we've gotten to know some really interesting people. One thing I do want to say first is that we did lose a very important member. They ended up dying for health related reasons over the holiday season, and this was Villain from the Villain Report. He spent a lot of time in the Discord server. Really, he was really talented at drumming up conversations and asking the tough questions, and he's going to be very much missed in the community. We're dedicating an award in memory of Villain for our annual award ceremony, which is basically going to be like the Dundies from The Office. But there will be the Villain award, which will basically be given to someone who really does come into the Discord server wanting to engage in the war of ideas. So someone who holds that tenacity that Villain brought to the table. But okay, aside from that, I just wanted to mention that about Villain. But we have a lot of other characters that you guys have to come on and meet. We got Nivik, we got Bruce, we got Scott, we got Don, we got so many others. Zaverfang from Uganda. He's from Uganda, right? Is that right?
No, he's I think he's from Nigeria.
Oh yeah, you're right. He's from Nigeria. Yeah.
Yeah, because I always
you make the joke.
That joke.
He's a Nigerian prince.
Yeah, give him your money. No, he's the actual prince, the one that people keep impersonating. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He's the real one. That's why I sent him all that money.
Haven't heard from him since then. I hope I see him.
Yeah. So what have you, Andy? What has the Discord server been like for you? Like getting to know everyone. Has this been the most human contact interaction you've ever had in your life? Because it's a lot. Like it's like 4 hours a night. Sometimes it's like meeting people from around the world, having discussions. Just talk about what it's been like for you.
Okay, well, it hasn't been the most human interaction. I did go to school at some point. I live with people.
Did you talk to people at school, or were you like sitting in the corner?
Sometimes when.
Were you the kid masturbating at the back of the classroom?
No comment, but yeah. So the Discord, it is definitely a very interesting place. I joined it explicitly because I wanted to talk to people. And mission accomplished, and now I'm a star.
Who are some people that you've had like the best conversations with?
Well, when I first got on, and I was still getting to know people, and I was still going through sort of a phase. I talked to Scott Big Lebowski for like an hour or more, like well into the hours of the morning, my time at least. So it's almost like a bit of a mentor relationship there, just a little bit at least. He's
got a lot of wisdom, guy. Scott. Like he's full of wisdom.
Although sometimes it's pretty unsolicited, but so that's kind of just the drawback of being young in general, is that everyone wants to give you advice. It is appreciated, and he's a really great guy.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I've had the privilege of getting close to a large amount of different great people on here, and it's really more about the personal connection for me than it is about philosophy or debate. I mean, I do get involved in those stuff too, but. I really do just love the people here, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I do too. It's so much fun. There's some combinations that I would like people to hear the conversations. Like I would love to hear, I want people to hear conversations between like Nivik and Scott. I think like for those of you who don't know Nivik yet, Nivik is this, this really interesting guy from, we think he's from Florida, but he keeps
We
changing.
think.
He keeps changing where he's from. We asked him his height the other night, and he said 5 foot.
Yeah, he was such a scallywag about that.
Oh, by the way, Andy, Mace says if you want advice, stop being imperfect.
Oh, if you don't want advice, okay, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
fuck you, mate.
Fuck you. Tyrone Jackson says the pharmaceutical industry. How was someone able to enter our chat here? Who is this, by the way? Oh, it's Wise. Hey, Wise, how's it going, man?
Abe. We have a unexpected guest.
Oh, do you know what it
show.
is? I don't think he'll be able to talk because we have it set to 2, which is fine. But it's kind of messing up my. Here, I'm gonna drop Wise down to with the other guys. So
It's just the boys right now. Okay?
yeah, exactly.
Well,
There's a bit of a hangout happening in the tavern at the moment.
the adults are talking.
Yes, exactly.
I love
I think I remember Bruce saying that to someone. I don't know if it was you or it might have been Nivik. I think he's like, yeah,
might have been.
quiet now. The adults are.
That sounds like something. Yeah, that sounds like something somebody would say to me.
Yeah.
Listen,
But Tyrone Jackson says the biopharmaceutical industry provides 75% of the FDA's drug review budget. Is this a problem? No. I mean, if someone can demonstrate that there's something nefarious going on because of this, no, I don't think that's a problem.
I don't even know what that sentence means. It sounds like a lot of gibberish, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hey, Wise, I'm gonna dump you back down to the tab because it's messing up my screen that I have locked for the live stream. But we are live on YouTube if you wanna tune in.
Oh, cool. All right.
I was gonna ask if you had like a real quick message you could share.
Yeah.
Kicked off.
Yeah, no, we can. Do you have any more news for me?
Well, I do have an interesting thing about COVID.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So apparently they have COVID sniffing dogs now.
No way.
And
are you serious?
yeah.
I gotta look this up.
So at least 2 of them. So they got 2 labs, and they will sit down if they detect COVID. And they visited 3 school districts in Bristol County, Boston. And what I think is kind of strange about this, among other things, is that apparently they could also, and this is according to the sheriff, someone, is that they could detect the Omicron variant as well as Delta and potentially any other variant.
Wow.
Yeah, the statement was, and I'm a little bit, is it really that simple? Was like, well, COVID is COVID. You know, if there's any other variant, they will detect it. It's like, I don't think I'm qualified to say that that's wrong, but
Okay.
like it's out of a movie.
Yeah.
And they were trained using a program developed by Florida International University's International Forensic Research Institute.
Interesting.
So,
Okay,
mouthful.
by James Gorman here at the New York Times. Dog noses are great COVID-19 detectors according to numerous lab studies, and COVID sniffing dogs have already started working in airports in other countries and at a new events in the United States, like a Miami Heat basketball game. But some experts in public health and in training scent dogs say that more information and planning are needed to be certain they are accurate in real life situations.
Yeah, see that was kind of my wondering about this, is that it seems so novel, you know?
Yeah.
Especially if you're gonna say it's detecting the new variant and any other potential variant.
Right.
What if the next variant's thing is that it's not as easy to detect? I mean,
Yeah, totally. What do you think of that? Oh, did Wise just leave again? Just
Yeah.
He keeps popping in and out. I don't know what he's doing.
Maybe he sees this and he thinks it's the tavern. Well, I don't know.
Maybe he-
like
Maybe he.
you glance at it and you just not paying attention.
Mm,
He's been,
maybe he's carving at the same time. So yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I mean, this is going to be like are we going to see like dog breed? Like, are we going to see like dogs roaming the
new
street?
Breed.
Are we going to see
a
dogs?
New breed for it.
Here's something that the people who really fear authoritarianism might
dogs.
like they have dogs out in the street, and then all of a sudden a dog starts barking at you really loud or howling, and then the authorities come and say, "Oh, this guy's got COVID."
Then you got Ben Shapiro, like, this is just like during the civil rights movement. They sicked dogs on people. How is this any different? It's his reaction to this article.
Yeah, exactly.
This is what's next.
Yeah, what's next? They're gonna be.
Is that Norm Macdonald?
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah, they got these.
We got these dogs now,
sniffing
eh?
Dogs.
They're gonna
That's kinda
sniff.
weird.
They're gonna sniff you, and then they're gonna tell you if they got the COVID.
Can smell diseases. I didn't know dogs were magic.
What's been Andy? What's been a topic that you flip-flopped your position on a lot?
Oh, well, I guess
outside of your own.
No, it was. I guess technically this is a lot for the topic. This is usually something you're not wrong about. I believed the Earth was flat at least 3 different times in my life.
Why 3? Okay, take us. This is fascinating.
Not it went back and forth. Not I was considering it and then I just wasn't sure and that happened 3 times. No, not consecutively. One time I would believe the Earth is flat and then I would think, no, it isn't. And then years go by and then I think it again. And then I think, no, that's ridiculous. And then years later I get convinced yet again that the Earth is flat. But now I'm almost positive I could not be convinced again. But considering my track record, maybe I shouldn't assume that.
So what were some of the things that Jeff said my first conversation with Andy involved showing him pictures of hull down sailing ships.
Yeah, and let me tell you, he was not very happy with me about that. He did not.
He's just like,
seem
look,
to be
Andy, listen up, you fuckhead. The sails.
violated. Yeah. We need to put a clause into the rules that say yes, you can't do that to flat earthers either.
When you do Doolittle's impersonation, what is that thing you usually say that absolutely kills me?
Well, I don't want to be too mean to him, but he does talk about this. You're not engaging in something that would result in reproduction. So I don't have to speak to you because you will be out of the gene pool.
What you are promoting does not support human reproduction.
It will not result in reproduction. I don't know how on my voice is. That is definitely his topic. He has a passion for that.
Yeah. Speaking of passions, little segue. Tell me about your obsession with anime.
I don't think it's an obsession. But what do you? I mean, I like the basic stuff that pretty much everybody likes. Dragon Ball, Conan. I've been rewatching Bleach lately, and it's insane because after like I think a decade, the Bleach anime is coming back to tell the final arc. So the
Now
fans are really hyped about that.
tell me like I'm 5 because I know nothing about this. What is Bleach?
Bleach is a story about a guy who he can see ghosts right off the bat, but
Okay.
he eventually gets stronger when he meets somebody whose job is what's called a Shinigami, which is a concept in Japanese mythology that a lot of anime use, but they usually make it their own thing. In the actual mythology, it's actually not very expanded on. But within the show, a Shinigami's job is to move on these ghosts, send them to the afterlife, and then fight the more violent ones. And so he gets rescued by this Shinigami, but then she is put in a deadly situation. So that he can protect his family from an evil ghost, he gives him his powers, and he becomes a Shinigami. And that's basically the kickstart of the show and all the various ramifications that come with that. It's a pretty interesting. I really like it, but it's kind of like the outcast of the more popular ones. It's the one that I think divides people a bit.
Interesting.
Speaking of dividing people, I feel like we might be alienating our audience.
Okay. I want to learn. One of my things is I want to learn, more about other, artistic, cultural pockets that that I'm very ignorant to, and the anime world is one of them. Like a lot of people, will say, "Oh, okay, Dragon Ball Z." Yeah, I remember watching Dragon Ball Z with my brother when I was young, and the Spirit Bomb episode, with Frieza.
You put your hands up, Travis. Put your hands up to help with it.
I did. Come on. But yeah, no, I just I want to learn more of that stuff, learn more of what other things people derive artistic inspiration from. And I notice you do some drawing that you've posted in the Discord.
I mean, I honestly think I've gotten worse at drawing over time. I think I've gotten lazier. But also, there was a period where I stopped, so I guess my skills might have atrophied a little bit.
Yeah.
You mentioned. Yeah, I like to doodle every now and then, I guess.
You mentioned something to do with the ghost realm. Was it you who mentioned to me that you might be convinced that ghosts do exist?
Well, I am convinced that ghosts exist.
Okay. Well, let's get into that.
God.
What? Tell me what has convinced you. Like if you were to tell me like the main thing that has convinced you, like the one instance, tell me about it.
Well, there isn't really a one instance, but there were a couple times, like several years ago, where when I was a kid, which even without this, I would still believe in ghosts. But when I was a kid, and back in my old house, there was a big house. It wasn't really a mansion; it was just a bigger house, and you could see it. It was up a hill near us, and the windows were very big. So from the window in my bedroom, I could look out, and I could see this house on this hill, and I could see the window, and if things were happening in the window, I could make it out. And on a couple occasions, lights would be on, and it'd be nighttime outside, so there'd be this contrast, so you could clearly see what's happening. And I remember this freaking me out as a kid, because sometimes it would be nighttime. I would look, I'd see that house's window light is on, and it would be these shapes floating by the window, not attached to anything.
What do the shapes look like? Like what kind of shapes?
almost like what you would expect a ghost to be shaped like, but in you know how in movies ghosts usually they look like people, they're just kind of see-through?
Right.
But it wasn't that. It was more like the cartoony type ghosts where like yeah, they look like people, but they're also their legs kind of go into like a bit of a tail.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I remember seeing, like sort of floating past the window.
Mm.
This black silhouette in the light of the window that I could see up against the night, and that was very strange. I think I remember like wanting to like you see a weird thing, and if other people are around, you're like, just like come see this. But I think I remember like trying to go do that, but you know when you're a kid, it's also like you don't really place importance on things that much.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was going to do that, but then I was like, like I think I was gonna tell my dad. Like I feel like I remember he was in the kitchen doing something, and I was like, but he's busy. I mean, I'm seeing what I believe to be spectral phenomenon, but
Okay.
it's probably also because as a kid, it didn't shock me so much as it weirded me out because as a kid,
Yeah,
and still
as a kid,
today-
you don't really know what's real yet. Like, you don't know what's out there yet. You know?
yeah, well, hey, Wise Ape is on my side. Wise Ape says ghosts are real,
Yeah.
but well, as a kid, I always had an interest in like the paranormal and the supernatural and stuff like that. So I also never had like an assumption that this is all nonsense. Like I always had a willingness to accept it as real, not an immediate assumption of it must be real, just not an assumption that it must be fake.
Right.
So when I saw that, I wasn't like, oh my god. I was just like, ugh.
Yeah, yeah. So, do you currently hold the belief that you don't know what that was, or do you think you know what that was?
No, I don't. I definitely don't know what that was.
Okay.
I just remember seeing it and believing it was a ghost, or thinking it was a ghost rather. Although I was probably more certain it was a ghost when at the time.
Yeah.
And now I still remember that as like, yeah, that was weird. The way that the shapes just kind of slowly, because it's not. It couldn't have been something thrown across the window that I saw. It was moving very slowly through. I don't know.
Did you dream?
Maybe
did
they
you
set
dream?
up a.
Did you dream it?
Well, it was so long ago that it's like, I could have been asleep. I could be literally just an idiot, just remembering a dream as a memory because it was so long ago. And
Well,
I was
that
so
happens.
young.
That happens a lot, right? I think this is almost always the case, if not always the case, when people recall like, oh, I was abducted by aliens when I was young. I can remember it so vividly that they took me into the spaceship, they beamed me up, and then they like put me back in my bed. And then like, people are like, a small portion of people are like, wow, that's another abduction story that did happen. But then I think
Look,
the more
I
reasonable
don't,
answer is, that they probably dreamed it. But
I mean, most people, if alien abductions do happen, right off the bat, most people aren't getting abducted by aliens. Like that's.
oh, it looks like Wise Ape has, since supporting you, has been convinced otherwise.
Yes, I mean, my hopes weren't too high, Wise Ape, honestly. So you don't have to be too. I'm not gonna try and do. You don't have to be too sorry. I was trying to think of a more fancy word to say that.
So, okay, so if you currently believe that ghosts are real, what are they? Like because my way of determining what is going on in reality would be through the scientific method and then from that scientific consensus, right? But
well, unfortunately, there's not much
our sense making.
scientific research.
Yeah, or our sense making apparatus, right? Because I can look out and I see a tree standing there, and I believe that tree, is its own object and it exists as its own object. Is it possible it's not there? Yes. This is an example I use in my book, that it's possible that that tree is a hologram, right? Or that it's it's not a tree at all. It's actually a person in a tree suit, like made from plastic.
You gotta investigate that if you think that that's a real.
Well,
possibility.
this is what I mean. Like if I was going to claim it as, and this is a funny thing, because someone would ask me, do I know a tree is there? I would say, yes, I do know a tree is there. They're like, well, have you gone and verified it? No, I mean, I've never touched that tree.
How do you know? How do you know as you sit in your room right now that your window is actually covered by a painting?
Yeah, exactly.
That looks exactly
Or
like it.
a painting, or even a digital screen, right? A digital screen that's very lifelike.
Yeah, it changes. You can see birds go by.
Yeah, exactly. So it's possible, but this is where like my epistemological standard of truth is almost certain, where it's possible that it's wrong, and that's what I think people's epistemological standard of truth should be with regards to knowledge claims.
Well, yeah, I'm not over here saying ghosts definitely exist, and this is a 100% scientific fact brought to you by resident expert me.
Yeah,
it's just something I think, which to you atheists that's like kryptonite. But
well, let's get into that a bit. You don't call yourself an atheist?
Because I'm not an atheist.
Right, and that's because you currently believe that there is a God, or that there are gods.
Correct.
Right, but you don't claim to know, so you're an agnostic atheist, right?
Yeah, because you can't. How are you gonna know something like that?
So my
Unless
hang up.
You have a...
Yeah. Sorry.
No,
you can finish.
How are you going to know something like that unless you have direct contact
Proof,
with God
right?
or gods?
Yeah. So okay, so you don't claim to know. I think that's a good step. Because I don't claim to know either. Unless, okay, now here's an interesting thing. If when I'm talking to someone and they understand that my epistemological standard for truth is almost certain, I'm happy to say I am almost certain there are no gods. And from that, I'm willing to say I know there are no gods. It's still possible within my epistemological standard of truth that it's still possible that there are gods, but I currently know that there are no gods based on that epistemological standard of truth. But if I'm talking to someone and their epistemological standard of truth is absolutely certain, you have to be absolutely certain of something in order for something to be true. I would say, well, I'm not absolutely certain about anything, so I don't know anything. So
Socrates.
okay. Now belief. You believe something, and what leads you to believe that a god or gods exist? Do you say gods or do you say a god?
Usually when this topic comes up, usually I do just think about God, the creator, capital G God. But that too is just a bit of an assumption. I mean, for all I know, multiple gods had a hand in creation. To put it simply, that's another variable. To put it simply, you could assume at least one, if there is.
And you used to believe that was Yahweh, but no longer do?
Yeah, I used to believe that was Yahweh, and I do not think that now. But I don't discount the possibility that Yahweh exists. But if Yahweh does, I hope that they are dormant or otherwise delayed or prevented.
And do you
interacting.
and do you say this, like, is there something that you discovered about Yahweh that you didn't know before, you didn't believe before about Yahweh, that made you turn that key?
I guess somewhat, yeah. So, this is very strange because it almost makes you question like the what the word actually means. But even Judaism has pagan roots.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like Yahweh has. Like, well, even if we look at the Bible itself, right? Um, as early as Genesis, know the Hebrew word they use? They don't say and YHWH created in the original Hebrew. They say the Elohim created.
Right.
Elohim is plural. In Hebrew, him pretty much always denotes plural. I really hope I'm not putting my foot in my mouth right now.
That's okay. We can correct it if you do. It's all good.
I spoke to our friend Don about this. Make sure, because I did find out about this with some other research. But Don, he grew up with Orthodox Judaism. He thinks in Hebrew, is what he said. And he told me, yeah, no, it's not debate at all. Elohim is plural. Him is plural in Hebrew.
Right.
So really, that line more accurately translates to, in the beginning, the gods created the heaven and the earth.
Right.
And that is like, I mean, try going to some like Southern Baptist church and being like, yeah, actually, the gods created the universe and rested on this.
Yeah.
Which by itself is also a bit of a thorn in the concept of omnipotence.
Yeah. And where does your what would you attribute the current belief that you hold in God's existence? Is this from a feeling, an intuition, a piece of text? What drives this?
Well, feeling and intuition definitely play a role. I also sort of suspect behind that same intuition, I do see the universe as somewhat impressive in some regards, so maybe it wouldn't be too surprising if mind was behind certain aspects of it. I also consider there's probably a better pre-existing way to describe this, but the thing I thought of was that I don't think it really would make sense if the universe didn't have an external cause. Whatever that might be.
Is that because you have a problem with infinite space-time? Like with the idea?
I don't know. It's kind of more, I feel like if we're truly going to say that reality or time and space or whatever, God is real, God is part of reality, so I guess God didn't start reality, but God started what we see, at the very least, this universe. Yeah, I tend to think that if we're really gonna say time and space had a beginning, then like there has to be some other element from outside of it that was initially outside of it, or was the first thing to operate within it.
Yeah, that's why I think my perspective is we don't have to take such leaps to say that there's some kind of agent behind it. I think it's better to believe in something, kind of the most minimalistic explanation until we have something better, such as that, our Big Bang happened in this infinite state of potential. Meaning that just there's this state, this pre-Big Bang state, that things can or cannot happen. Things may or may not happen. And I just call that state of potential. And then if you attribute that has always been around and will always be. And if you carry to that an epistemological standard of truth that is almost certain, where that could be wrong, I think that's probably the most sound position we can hold at this time, as opposed to trying to imagine an agent at the beginning of all this. And the problem with imagining the agent is that we're then imagining something quite complex that is that has no origin, like has no origin story, you know?
Well, potentially has no origin, because that's a detail of because I do kind of look at God in a more mystic way. I mean, obviously, I take the different step than you do, where I say, yeah, there is a God, or I suspect that there is a God, or maybe there only was a God, because all that's really necessary for this is that God created. Like that's really the most people assume a lot of stuff about God when they come up with an idea, and they think, okay, so God created the universe, and also here's a bunch of other details that is not necessary, and you're kind of assuming things, and you're kind of reaching at that point. Which is why my belief in God is more descriptive than prescriptive, and even then, it's not that descriptive.
Right.
Because it is an abstract thing. It's something I don't know, and it's something I can't look to a holy text and say, well, it says this about God, and that's what God is like.
Interesting, and you know, I've always found that fascinating because, you know, I know a lot of people who hold that same kind of deistic view of God, and my question always is why do you feel the need to adopt such a thing when you don't have any proof or evidence indicating that you know this is the case outside of your own, you know, intuition or emotions? And from a sentimentalist perspective, like Jolly, that's Jolly's by the way, our friend from Australia, who's going to be running the Sunday discussions.
And a friend, I mean, he is Australian.
Yeah, let's not go too far with the friend thing.
Yeah, let's not.
Hey, Trav, where's Nivek?
Hey, Travis, Andy was talking shit about me on the.
Andy was talking shit about me on the server.
Right in front of all the people, huh? I'm gonna kick his ass.
Dingo babies.
Hey, you think you can make me look bad, asshole?
Listen here, motherfucker.
I'm gonna hit you right between the baby blues with my boomerang.
Oh man, yeah, that guy's a riot, man. He kills me.
I do like Jolly a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, he's a sentimentalist, right? And you know, he, as a sentimentalist, it's like if you feel strong enough about it, it's like it's good, right?
Yeah, no. Yeah, I not look, I empathize with that, but no, not universally. Because you can feel all kinds of stuff and it'd be not cool. Like,
yeah.
Like I could really feel like I want to go punch somebody. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean I should go punch somebody.
This is the problem I have with.
And I feel that way all the time.
Yeah. By the way, we should try and get Jolly on for maybe Thursday if we can. That would be great, because I'd like to talk about sentimentalism and the way that that actualizes for him. V57 says, why believe in God? The best pathway to self realization and the ennoblement of being is to posit the highest good you can conceive of, then commit yourself to it. That's
one
Dr.
of those
Peterson.
assumptions. It's one of those assumptions I was talking about. Why would God be the highest good? And that's
exactly.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah.
And that's something that people don't usually go to. Not really the organized religions, at least not on purpose.
Yeah.
You don't. No, it's possible God is evil.
The highest
in fact,
good.
I think that's 50%.
Well, the highest good by some metrics might be an inanimate object like a rock, right? It does nothing except what the force carriers demand of it, based on the velocity of the Big Bang.
Yeah.
So
I think that based on that's a big thing. I don't believe in worship. I don't think you should worship God. I think if God wants you to worship, then God has a problem. And if God doesn't want you to worship, then you might be really disturbing God by worshiping.
Yeah, I think if I was to put my Calvinist hat on, or my Bruce hat, or a more fundamentalist believer, they would say, well, this is just something that God wants. Like he derives pleasure out of being worshipped. You better worship him because he's given you the potential penalties for not doing so. And then someone will say, well, that means
I can't help it.
Yeah, and then some people will say, well, that means that God's evil. Well, not to the believer, because the believer believes that God gets to dictate what is good.
And no,
So-
I don't believe in that at all.
Yeah, right.
That was one of my earlier ideas in all this, and it is also another assumption that God has anything to do with morality. I believe that morals exist, real good and evil things that we can become aware of and we can act on. But I don't think that has any necessary entanglement to the existence of God. And I don't think it's God's will. I don't think anybody, not even God, has any say on what morality is. Morality just is. That's what I believe.
V57 says, highest good you can conceive of, it's personal to you. My highest good is intelligent morally. Why do you think there has to be a highest anything? Why do you think there has to be an end level, that there is a peak to reach? You can continue to climb towards what you think is good. For instance, my moral foundation is maximize well-being for myself and those around me. I can continue to climb and stack the good things. Why does there have to be a limit to that? Why does there have to be a peak to that? There doesn't have to be. I think this is a myth created by various theistic ideologies where they put God at the top and they say, well, that's the thing you got to work towards. It's like, what about beyond that? Surely there's something more moral than Yahweh.
No question. I mean, I know the immediate, like you said, our friend Bruce. I know the immediate thing would be, oh, well, by what standard? And it's like, Yahweh is evil, and maybe you can call me presumptuous, but yes, I think I have the right to say that. And
yeah, based on your own moral metric. And we'll get into that next, because a lot of people rely on their God belief to dictate their moral foundation, their moral code. Now, with you, Andy, you being what I would categorize as a deist, you don't have that written text to go to anymore because you're no longer a Christian. But here's what I think we'll do. Let's take a quick bathroom break, and we'll come back. We got a half hour to jump into morality until Mace Starwalk joins us. And I'm sure Mace is going to have a lot to talk about. Mace is going to bring a topic in that we're all going to jump into. But let's take a quick break. I'm going to throw on a little bit of music for you guys. What track am I going to spin? Here. We'll put on the World Tour track again, a Celebration of Science and Reason tour. We're starting in Canada, and we're coming all around the world. Let me know where you guys want to go. Oh, by the way, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We are literally 80 subscribers away from 100,000 subscribers. Make sure you subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. Let's get over the hump. It's literally 80 subscribers away until we get that 100,000 gold plaque that I'll probably just wipe my ass with because I'm fucking pissed off at YouTube for demonetizing this channel. But anyways, we'll be back in a minute. He's Andy Rovere. I'm Travis Pangburn. Hope you guys are enjoying the first episode of the Pangburn Show thus far. And yeah, we will be right back.
We are electric man. We've got electric hands. So come stand beside us and realize that the thing we must do is inspire. We're coming for ya. We're coming for ya. We are electric man. We've got electric hands. So come stand beside us and realize that the thing we must do is inspire. We're coming for ya. We're coming for ya.
All right, we're back. Make sure you guys drop a like on this video. Really helps the YouTube algorithm. It's saying we have 13,500 playbacks so far today.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Travis, did you wash your hands?
No, well, yeah, I mean, I dipped them in my water glass.
Okay.
Yeah. When
Help
you,
him move.
Andy, there's something with your mic. When you move, we hear a little bit of intermittence. I wonder if it's your connection to your computer. I don't know what's shaking, but anyways, we'll test it out. I don't think it's your headset. I think it's maybe where your cable connects to your computer. But yeah, we'll sort that out.
Maybe.
Jeffrey D'Amato says that was me 12,500 times. Oh, thanks for your support, brother.
A real one.
Bob, thank you for engaging in the
That's
chat.
what people
Britt,
think.
welcome
That's what
back.
people think, Travis, by the way. You told me about that. They think that you got a ghost Twitter account.
Ah.
I guess was that the accusation, or it was?
No, people
something
said what was happening is people were just like spreading all of this like false illegal information about me on Twitter. So me and a bunch of friends and family got on all these these Twitter accounts and started combating the the defamation online. And then I started suing people, or in some cases threatening to sue people. And it's amazing. That's the amazing thing about law. You can actually use it to your advantage to silence defamation. And that's it. And I really encourage people to do that. If someone is defaming you on the internet, go get a lawyer, sue them. Just sue them. I'm a huge proponent of that. We have to end this era of people getting away with defamation and dragging people through the mud. And us thinking that that's okay. Just gonna turn that down a little bit. There we go.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if people are gonna make like insane accusations and claims about you, then yeah, they should be held accountable.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, so my question here, Andy, is how have you come to clarify your moral foundation? What does it feel like to you? How do you apply it now that you no longer have the Bible to look to?
Well, the thing is, Travis, the way you describe your moral foundation is kind of like broad, like kind of on the nose. Like I think a lot of people agree with what your basic foundation is, and I think I do as well. The most part, at least. So it's just a similar sense of what brings well-being. The only difference is that mine comes with a sense of not being subjective and that goodness being real. The goal being to actually act on that. But whether people disagree about morality being objective or subjective, I think it's just important thing is, because we're never going to agree on that unanimously, but the important thing is that as long as we care about what's moral, I think that's good.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it comes into conflict when we have people who think that we should be throwing homosexuals off the top of buildings for being homosexual, and then my moral foundation says no, that's immoral, right? That you would be acting.
And though there is that disagreement, there is that dialogue. There is that attempt and failure at justification. There are people who stand against that, even within that own country where that would be allowed, which has to be the high stress thing ever, being homosexual in that situation.
Yeah, can you imagine? Like you're trying to pick up a date, and it's either like, okay, I'm really horny, I'm super horny, but also the threat of death awaits me if someone's trying to catch me, right?
Man. I mean, that's how it feels to be a teenager, I guess.
Hey, Lois. God, I love Family Guy. Okay, so you would say that then at this point you kind of want to maximize well-being for yourself and those around you as much as you can, right?
Yeah, basically, I think it's.
I think one thing that people get into is like they want to make sure they understand what you mean by well-being, because they think like that necessarily means like you have this kind of ideology and that is what well-being is. But no, specifically what I'm talking about when I say well-being is the thing that medical science studies in objective reality, not anything of the subject. The thing we try to escape the subject and figure out what is going on in reality with regards to our own biological health. So nothing metaphysical. Well, I shouldn't say nothing metaphysical, because sometimes metaphysical things can, like concepts, can really affect your biological well-being. So that is where obviously psychology would come in and see if there's any kind of ideology that's really harming the well-being of the person. Because maybe you all of a sudden join the Church of Carrots and you're only eating carrots, but you're having this gut biome problem, and your doctor's like, well, I mean, you got to
Your
kind of
skin is turning orange.
Yeah,
Do you know that happens when you eat too much carrots?
apparently.
that is insane. That's
Wait,
straight
is
out
that
of the
real?
cartoon.
Let me look this up right now. I
I'm
wanna
pretty
know.
sure that's real. I think I've checked for myself, and it is.
Orange.
Again.
Okay, here we go. It's a top search. It can cause a yellowish discoloration of the skin,
It's
according
very
to
strange.
dermatologists. Yeah, interesting that it's yellow. So you look like you have like jaundice.
There are yellow carrots. There are also red and I think purple carrots too. But
Mm-hmm.
Or you had a point, and I was fixated on carrots.
Carrot-shaped objects, maybe?
No, I don't know what you would be. I just really, I think Bugs Bunny is a cool guy. He's the trickster figure archetype.
Yeah, yeah.
I like Daffy though.
Oh, here's
I
an
think I
interesting thing.
identify-
I should check this out. Someone in my family mentioned this. That the thing that rabbits eat with regards to the carrots are the carrot tops.
You're not supposed to give rabbits too much carrots. It should be like a treat.
Yeah, they don't
I think they
naturally
have, like,
eat root vegetables or fruit. They'll just eat the tops of the carrots. Yeah, that's funny. Bugs Bunny really fucked that up for everyone.
He's also the reason why Nimrod is an insult.
Nimrod? What is the actual definition of Nimrod?
Well, Nimrod was a person, I think, like a legendary hunter, I believe. I'm not sure if he was actually in the Bible or if
Yeah,
he's,
biblical figure described as the Earth's most mighty man.
Then Bugs used it sarcastically to describe Elmer Fudd, I think.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, but people who heard that didn't know who Nimrod was, so I guess they just figured it was another word for moron.
But you're right.
And then
Bugs
it's
Bunny
changed.
is totally trolling Elmer Fudd there.
He's also misleading the public. He's making them think things about carrots that aren't true, and about Nimrod. Nimrod was a great man or something. I don't know.
Let's talk about. Okay. So you've outlined your moral foundation for us, and do you feel the urge to want to maximize well-being for others outside your own family, like to reach out, like to do that as a career, or is that terrifying, or what are your thoughts on that?
I definitely don't think I feel the urge to reach out. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm very philanthropic. But I guess if I did have the means, I would probably contribute to some causes, potentially, if I could. I don't currently feel the urge or the desire to I don't know, join the Peace Corps or whatever it is people do.
So let me.
Well, that specifically, I don't think I would be very good at that. But
Yeah, I think what a Christian might say to you after saying that is like, yeah, of course you don't, because you're a man. Like a man can't create, that drive in themselves. They need to be inspired by God to do, these kind of works. And how would you respond if a Christian said that?
Okay, well, I used to be a Christian, a fundamentalist of my own choosing. I wasn't even indoctrinated into that. I chose that. Even then, I didn't want to do that. Because I didn't think I would be, number one, useful, and number two, good in that situation. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm selling myself short a little bit. Maybe I could contribute, but that's kind of my top concern right there. Also, plenty of people who are atheists help out the world, I would imagine. I mean,
yeah, of course.
You're an atheist, and even though like atheists, you have evil urges and desires to kill people and destroy as much as you can and
Eat
lie,
children.
but you fight those urges, Travis, and act
Yes.
like a Christian.
Yes, exactly. We all act as though we are Christian, according to.
We definitely don't all act as though, but we all are secretly, like on a subconscious level.
Yeah, Christianity has always fascinated me. Like it's, I don't think most people maybe they don't see it as like bad, but when they read through a lot of the Bible and some of the moral prescriptions, like how they can't see that as bad. That's always fascinated me since I was a little kid. you know.
Oh yeah, I mean it just.
But I never held like.
It,
Here's something I didn't say yesterday. We were having the conversation: is God dead? God was never dead to me. God just, you know, God was just a storybook character, right? So it has never lived or dead. It's just stayed the same in that storybook land. Like I never held the concept to be true, and I never held it as part of a hierarchy for anything, or like it just, it's like Santa, right?
well, you probably
Except I think probably at some point I believed in the existence of Santa.
Yeah, I definitely believed in Santa Claus. Most kids do, I think, right? But
Santa Claus, I still believe in you. There's still a kid inside of us who still believes you're true. Who is that?
is that a real song?
Yeah, that's by Alabama. Alabama Christmas album, by the way, one of the best out there. If you can handle a little bit of country in your life.
You know, it's weird. I was actually, I kind of hate Christmas.
Okay, yeah, let's.
Like, I'm
okay,
kind
now
of
I want to
a-
hear this because I'm fucking
I'm kind of
fascinated by
a,
this.
I am kind of a Scrooge actually, and I almost somewhat pathologically because I is at least partly over emotional, disproportionate perhaps. I kind of just hate holidays. Like time off, sure, but like the theme and the little traditions and like I don't know, like
I'm gonna ask
part
you
of
this.
me-
I'm gonna ask you this flat out. Do you hate seeing other people joyful? And I'm not
No.
asking that facetiously because
No, no.
you don't like you don't see other people enjoying themselves, being joyful, happy, and just be like, what the fuck's this prick all happy about?
No, well, actually, usually, like, I'll see, like, people having fun, and, like, I'll kind of, like, reflexively, I'll smile.
Yeah.
And then I'll catch myself smiling, and I'm like, fuck those guys, why are you smiling? But no, no, I don't see people, so I'm not that much of a, like, I see people having fun, and I'm like, you bastards. I'm gonna go into town and steal all the Christmas presents with my dog.
Did what did you do for Christmas this year? Much?
Nothing. My mother went with my mother and one of my brothers. They went to visit my other brother and his side of the family, and I just stayed here. My stomach wasn't really feeling too well,
Oh, okay.
so it wouldn't have been a good idea if I went anyway.
And did you grow up the tradition of having a Christmas tree, putting presents under the tree, and?
Well, yeah, but we lost we stopped doing that like a really full capacity when we moved.
Right.
We stopped setting up the tree the house before this house, but the house after another house. I know that was very descriptive. You're welcome. Yeah, we don't put up lights anymore. We don't put too much of an effort into it that we used to when we were when I was much younger.
Yeah, I actually enjoy that. I love the pageantry of Christmas. It's fun. I really enjoy giving to people, and I love seeing when people get something they need or want, or it lights up their world. I love that feeling.
Well, it is nice to give people things. That's true, but it's not very nice being obligated. A sense of obligation, I think, does accompany.
Yeah, and
some
you know
holidays.
what? I would hate for anyone to ever like the idea of anyone feeling obligated to give me a present like that. That makes me sick. Like I would hate for anyone to ever feel that way. But I literally like at the top at the peaks of my pleasure hierarchy in certain areas. I have I have like giving to others there because it feels so good. And going down to Hastings Street in Vancouver and giving food out. I love doing that. Like, it just feels so fucking good. I feel all charged up, and I feel like I had just, like the same type of feeling when I go to a really awesome concert that inspires me. Like, you go down, you do something, it inspires you. That's awesome.
Yeah, that does sound like a really good experience. It's good. It's good that people are willing to give to people who really need it, especially during the time of the year where they might feel a bit dejected because of all the otherwise happiness going on. And
yeah, I've always, something about me, I've always gotten deep levels of pleasure out of watching people enjoy food. That one is huge for me. Like, I catch myself sometimes watching someone eat, and I'm not watching them because like I'm looking at their eating habits or anything. I'm watching them because I really soak up when someone like takes a bite of food that's like really good and it's like hitting them right. Like, I love that. And and I think that's why the global starvation issues that we have like really hit me hard, because I think that's on the opposite side of that spectrum, where when I see someone who's like who's dying of starvation or suffering because they can't have something to eat, that just hits me in a way that very few other things do.
It's really disturbing, like seeing the pictures of like really young children in parts of the world where their stomach is bloated and you can see their ribs and their arms and legs. They look just like bones with skin on them. It's very disturbing. It's like, it's one of the things that you see it and it's painful to look at.
Yeah.
Like that picture that people know where it's that child and there's like a vulture, right?
Yeah.
The picture I'm talking about.
The vulture's waiting for the child to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very disturbing.
It's terrible. And to charge the mood up after that, remember the bit in Family Guy, the Ethiopian hoarder? Now back to Ethiopian hoarders. He's like, how could it have come to this? And he has one plate and a fork and a knife, basically.
That show, the real Family Guy, first of all, in my opinion, fell off after season 3. It didn't become consistently awful, but it did fall off.
I think that's
Like,
way too early.
Like, so many great so many great shows. It's not just Family Guy. They just, after season 3, they kind of dip a little bit, and then sometimes eventually they're completely gone. But in regards to the hoarding thing, that show is very disturbing. It's like, yeah, how does that pile up? You walk into your house and you can't, immediately when you open the door, you have to like navigate around a maze to get to the stairs.
That is terrible. That's like
that is insane. Very disturbing.
That's like,
I don't think that should be a show. I don't know if that should be entertainment. I think maybe you should deal with that person in a normal way.
No, man, I think, I think this stuff is fascinating. I get a lot of pleasure out of watching that kind of entertainment, like true crime, people going through the worst struggles in life.
Well, yeah, well, you enjoy it, Travis, because you enjoy seeing sad things happening, and you do your laugh. That you
I watch it alone.
When you're like, "Mwahaha," you do that laugh.
I watch it when there's no one else around.
I dream about it.
I dream of it.
Maximize suffering.
Maximize suffering for myself and those around me.
Myself and others.
Just as I'm talking to you right now, there's just like a vice being tightened on my testicles.
Yeah, there's a Vice article being written right now where it's like, Travis Pangburn admits it.
Travis Pangburn admits to terrible shit. Here's a link to his YouTube video.
What did he say about Muslims?
I love it when people share stuff. They'll be like, I fucking hate this guy. And they share my YouTube clip on Twitter. And I'm like, thanks for the share.
Yeah, that is actually kind of a bad thing to do if you hate somebody. You're advertising their channel, how to check them out, giving them views. There's no guarantee whoever clicks on that, who sees your post, is going to agree with you.
Hate is for the primitive people. It's bad for you. It's bad for you. You don't need to hate anything.
You don't need to hate anything except for evil.
Yeah. Speaking of evil, where's Mace? We better open up the room, so I'll make it so that Mace can come in. Permissions.
Speaking of evil.
Did you call me evil?
Travis, were you insinuating that I was evil? I'll have you know that I'm an Englishman, and though we do value evil, we are very...
Wait, what's going on here? Oh, save changes. Whoops. Okay, I was trying to escape out of this, but it wouldn't let me. Okay, Mace should be able to join us now. Mace, if you're listening, get your ass in here, or else we're just gonna troll you the whole time. Hello.
Yeah, Mace, you better get in here unless you're ready for another civil war. Civil war. Civil war.
We all know.
Better get ready, Mace, or else I am going to commit suicide against you. Revolutionary War.
Oh, they're having it.
Americans don't need to be smart.
You know what?
Still beat the British.
You know what? They're having a really nuanced debate, a topic that never gets debated in the chat right now on God.
What's that?
The existence of God.
Oh. I never thought about that. It's like some people think God does exist. Other people doesn't.
Yeah. Holy shit, man. We're on to something.
What is the... I didn't understand there were so many perspectives.
What if Nivik was in that chat right now? He'd be ruling the world.
Yeah, he'd be taking names and being somewhat coy about his own.
Maybe he's in there right now.
Yeah, he could.
Drone...
He does seem like the guy who would have multiple accounts.
Look at Drone Racer. What Drone Racer has said. People are giving him full on. He's like, or they are like, where did God come from if he's alive or intelligent? And then he's like, checkmate. And then they give their answers, and then Drone Racer's like, you just lost. Is this what discourse has become?
You're joined only in your fan base, Travis. We are joined by Mace Orwalk, who I believe has a real name, but I'm not entirely sure what it is, and I will not disclose it if he doesn't want me to. Good evening, gent.
Hello. Yeah, I'm not allowed to disclose my real name at this time, I'm afraid.
I'm sure it's probably something like Nigel Cumberbatch or whatever.
It's just Cumberbatch. Like Mario.
It's Benedict Arnold.
No, it's Benedict Cumberbatch Arnold Charles.
Okay, let's not be I guess xenophobic right off the bat.
All right, Mace, what do you got today, man?
I wasn't really told what I was here for.
Oh. Do you have a topic? Anything of interest?
Have a debate or something? Like, how does it work?
Yeah, no.
Whatever is burning on your mind right at this moment, maybe a couple hours earlier. Reach in and
what's
pull it out.
What's a topic that's been eating at you? You've wanted to put it out there and get some fucking answers.
I suppose earlier today I was thinking about people that use the middle ground fallacy. They really get on my tits.
Oh yeah. Like they, like they're kind of the people who they'll be like, I understand their perspective and I understand this one as well, but then they never tell you which one they think is a better idea.
Oh, Are those
Well, actually,
are
worse
those
than
the
that.
people who
They
say like,
they say the truth is somewhere between the two sides. Those
oh,
people
Oh,
oh, and
fuck.
then they don't
Yeah.
say what
infuriate
that
the shit
means.
out
Yeah,
of
that
me.
triggers me like no other.
It's somewhere in the middle, and you can figure that out for yourself.
Yeah, like, and they say it like there's some like enlightened wise man. Somewhere in the middle you will find the answer.
Have found the middle way.
The middle way. Yeah.
You
Actually,
shouldn't rape all the time.
And it infuriates me
You
even
don't have
more
to
that
rape
the
none of the time.
the middle ground fallacy is so like socially acceptable. Like the person who takes that stance is suddenly the popular person in the room. That annoys me even more. It's like, yeah, this guy is
somebody in the
right.
chat,
Let's
I think,
follow
had a
this guy
question.
because he's a balanced, level-headed person. Like,
yes. Yeah.
No, he's just a fence sitter.
That is some, yeah. That is some troubling shit when people say like, yeah, because that person who's a fence sitter, like Neil deGrasse Tyson for the longest time was like a fence sitter on the issue of non-belief in God, and he would always be like, yeah, well, I hate that atheist label, even though he is one by definition. He made people believe that he was sitting on the center. You know, it swells his ranks. People who believe in God can then come and enjoy his shit without feeling like they're supporting a heathen.
Somebody in the chat, I think, had a question for Mace about the middle ground thing. But you dislike everyone in media?
I don't know. I think
This is
media isn't media kind of the opposite. Aren't they quite
a
dichotomous?
traversable philosophy. A lot of media, I think, pretends to be that, but it's actually left wing.
Yeah, but they
Like CNN.
yeah, but Fox. I mean, to be honest, like if you watch
So
Fox
Fox
or
also
CNN,
is
those two are
entirely
kind of,
right-wing.
or those two are kind of balancing each other out, and then they all just like cancel each other out, and then the dust settles, and then it's like, okay, well, let's see if we can pick out some real information here.
Yeah. Well, don't even use. I mean, some people are like, okay, well, what if I watch one and then I also watch the other and I could sift through? And it's like, no, no, because they're both so insane. You need to find other It's not like it's not a two news station thing where you have to, I have to only pick one or I have to watch them both to find out the truth. Just do better sources.
Well, a lot of people
I think
don't.
a lot of people understand that.
A lot of people
that they're pretty crazy.
Yeah, a lot of people get fucked up with this idea that, like, you know, the truth of something is either of a proposition, it's either true or it's not, right? There's no middle ground there. But some people talk about these issues of what happened here or what happened there as though there's like, oh, you know, it's my truth, or like, you know, the way I see the truth. It's like, that's not the way like truth things work.
My alternative facts.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Alternative fact. We have alternative facts.
So, yeah, Ace. One thing that really annoys me, I'm not sure if it's tangential or if it's the same kind of thinking, but it does annoy me when people go, "Of them are idiots."
Wait, say that again. You
And-
cut
and-
out there when you moved.
They want to be smart and edgy, and they're like, both of these guys are idiots.
yeah, that's another middleman fallacy.
Yeah.
I'm me though. Me, on the other hand.
Both of these guys are idiots, and I'm the genius for pointing it out.
See how nuanced I am?
Do you know how fucking nuanced
Deep.
I am? I'm so fucking
Could
nuanced.
I
that nuance
get
doesn't even
your number?
apply to me anymore, man.
So, you wanted to give me your number?
So, since I'm so nuanced, can I have that number?
Yes. I'm in love, nuance.
Speaking of numbers, how are you doing in that department, Mace?
Numbers? What do you mean?
Are you getting them
Numbers.
digits?
Digits,
No.
bro. You can need
No.
digits from.
I think no. I think
No.
Mace. I think Mace needs to just like find it. Well, actually, I would think Mace would do fucking great, like in the online dating scene, because once you go from the online
don't.
dating app and then you go to like WhatsApp, and then on WhatsApp you can send the voice memos, and I mean Mace's voice like has got that deep, rich, tender,
Yeah, dude.
like
The
don't know.
dulcet tones.
Yeah, I know, but then they'll look at my face and then they'll be like, ugh.
You're not a bad looking guy, I don't
No,
think.
you're not. Mace is not a bad looking guy. He's got
I
a
was
baby.
actually.
He's got a
Besides,
baby
like-
face. He's got a baby face, and you know, I don't know how many women like necessarily run for the baby face guys, but there's many women out there that love baby face guys.
Oh,
Well,
shit.
that's my problem. If I think a woman is attracted to me, I can't get over the initial shock of, but I look like a child. Why? I look and sound like a kid. What's wrong with you?
I was
Well,
actually gonna.
we have a classification.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, nice knowing you.
Mace, are you?
Oh,
we
yeah,
were,
just kidding. Nobody's ever attracted to me.
This is all a farce. Mace, we were talking about we were kind of just having a basic conversation about God belief. Andy's a deist. Where do you sit on that scale?
I'm an atheist.
Yeah. And have you always been an atheist?
Difficult question. I mean, I have prayed to God when I was a kid, but I think even then, when I was praying to God, I didn't truly understand what I was doing.
Yeah.
Since I've been old enough to understand the concept of religion, I haven't really been convinced by any.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm in that same boat. I'm open to evaluate any new evidence or proofs that someone might have for to demonstrate the existence of a God, but so far I just see, human beings that have written down texts and have claimed to be divinely inspired, and to believe those claims of the authors is to make a leap of faith that I just cannot make.
Mace, is my assumption correct that as a child you sounded exactly the same as you do now?
No, my voice was actually very high pitched. I had to.
Oh my
work on it.
god.
I actually
Please,
do
sir,
throat
can I have some
exercises.
more?
No.
Mommy!
What's okay, Mace, I think we should talk to Mace about his what we should be, because I think this is it leads to an interesting discussion, how we should be treating criminals. Since we got all these superhero images around us, let's imagine we capture some people who are doing crime. Mace, what do you think we should be doing with them?
You trying to dig into my most controversial opinion
Yes.
there?
Yes.
Yeah, I think criminals shouldn't be getting a free ride. They should have to work for everything they get.
Right. Which means
Which
Slaves,
means slavery.
right.
Slavery. Oh, you heard it here
Means
first.
work without payment.
Right.
English men do in fact support slavery. It's not a stereotype.
So, I mean, we locked
It's
we
penal
locked them.
slavery, of course. It's not
Penal slavery
the
is-
type
and-
that most people are thinking of.
Right.
What's that?
Would you
What was the
send
American
them to
one?
Australia?
Was it chattel slavery?
Yeah, the American one was chattel slavery.
Chattel race based.
So right now, currently, we lock people up and they have to do their time. Mace's upgrade is to say, instead of them just being locked up and doing their time, they'll be locked up doing their time, but also working for the things that they receive, like for their food, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're adding that one caveat that they can't just sit around. But what happens if they don't work? Do we let them starve to death?
Yeah, sure. Don't force them to work.
Oh.
If they want to starve, they can.
Yeah,
Right.
okay, so wait, no, they don't want to starve though, mate. So when somebody commits a crime, are you under the impression that they lose all human rights?
I believe that if somebody is given a prison sentence, their citizenship should be suspended for the duration of that sentence, and therefore they should lose all citizen rights.
Brutal.
I mean, we do that to a certain degree, though, Andy. Anyway, now.
No, I mean, we get rid of certain
they're still
liberties.
a citizen. Yeah.
Like if somebody.
That includes
like
the
if-
right to vote. I find the fact that prisoners can vote is just horrendous.
Oh yeah, didn't we? We talked about that, Mace.
Yeah.
Didn't we find that a lot of places in the world.
In England, in the United Kingdom, prisoners are allowed to vote. It's just shocking.
prisoners-
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Can prisoners
I think
vote
in most
in
of
Canada?
I think in most of America that is not the case. I'm not sure if it's all of America. I don't know. It was a while since I talked about this.
Yeah, in Canada they can vote as well.
The reason I
Interesting.
think that's ridiculous is because, well, someone could then gain the right to vote without even needing to apply for citizenship. They can just get arrested by any country's authorities, and then
They
while
really
they're
have
in
that?
jail, they can vote. Like prisoners of war can vote under that law. It's ridiculous.
Well, it says in Canada that you have to be a Canadian citizen to vote. So all Canadian citizens get a vote. So that would include incarcerated Canadian citizens, but not not just incarcerated, like illegal
right.
immigrants. Yeah.
Well, even so, even if they are citizens before they're given the prison sentence, it undermines the purpose of voting if the people who are voting don't agree to abide by the results.
Mm-hmm.
And criminals, by definition, don't do that.
It's such a small number of people, especially in Canada. Let me see what the prison population is.
Well, that's because you guys just keep letting them go.
The majority of offenders are considered to be a medium security risk. Canada's incarceration rate is amongst the lowest, 104 people per 100,000 behind bars. In February 2020, there was an average of 38,000 in adults in federal and provincial custody on any given day. Okay. So there's usually about 40,000, looks like.
There's a couple
America
of people
has
in
a lot
the
of-
chat asking
a
me
lot of
to
prisoners.
clarify exactly how bad the crime needs to be for their citizenship
yeah.
to be suspended, in my view.
Yeah, go
And,
ahead.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I don't think every crime should result in a suspension of citizenship. I just mean anyone who is sentenced to jail should have their citizenship suspended for the duration of the jail sentence.
Wait. So
So if they're sent to jail for 6 months, then they should no longer be a citizen for that 6 months.
okay,
If
well,
they
so
miss
then
out
it
on a
is
vote in
all,
that time, so be it.
and it is all criminals, though.
No, because not all criminals go to jail. Some just get given a fine.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Zombie, can you hear us?
Yeah, what's up?
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, we're just talking. So Mace is talking about probably his most controversial idea, that prisoners who commit certain crimes should, like when they're incarcerated, they should have to work for the things that they receive, like their food, their water, maybe their shelter. What do you think about that?
I think it'd be a great idea, but there's a varying range of individuals that aren't very high functioning that end up landing in jail also, or
Right.
prison.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, you got to look at two different things. You know, jail is pre-adjudicated, or people that are sentenced locally, typically.
Of
And
course
prison-
you know the difference.
Yeah, and prison is they're convicted and they're sent off, like usually to a state or a federal prison in the U.S. What about you, Mace?
What about me?
I mean, in the UK, what's it like?
I've never been to either, and even though you just explained it, I still don't understand the difference.
Oh, well, yeah, jail would be local, like a county, or a prison would be more like for a state or federal here in the US. And I'm sure it's a little different in each geographic region that we have. I think it maybe having people work for their stay in a prison setting might work, but then they have to be watched. So are they working within the walls of the facility? Like in our county, we actually have what we call work crew, where we have the better of the inmates, so the good ones of the worst bunch of people, that are screened, and then they go out into the community and they do things like clean up homeless camps, clean up by the freeway, do those types of duties. And then in our facilities, they do all the laundry. They're supervised and they do the work within the kitchens. And then they have people within the housing units that do things like clean the public areas, like the shower and the bathrooms and the multi-purpose rooms, and serve food. But it's really kind of hard to keep them busy because there's a security concern. You can't give them certain tools, for instance. Like everything is gone over of what they can have.
Yeah, definitely. It depends how dangerous the individuals are.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to give someone who has a propensity to violence a chainsaw to help cut down a tree.
Why do we rely on prisoners for labor?
Do we?
Well, I mean,
Actually, some prisons in Oregon, they have a like job training. So I mean, some of them are actually doing things that they can do eventually in the community. So plumbing.
yeah,
I know the women have like a whole. They have barber services. Like we have an advanced aesthetics uh, teacher there that will teach them how to do laser removal of tattoos. They'll teach them how to do hair, and they're board certified, nails, that kind of thing. So
well,
some
that
of it,
makes sense.
yeah, some of it's worked into like job training.
And that would be part of rehabilitation, right? Like preparing them to
Well,
rejoin the outside world.
or transition planning. I don't know if it's called. I think programming would be called rehabilitation, but like transitional services. So transitioning them out into the community so they don't just like drop them off at a street corner and say,
Yeah, and
okay.
Travis, yeah. So Travis, this is not the kind of transitioning that you have personal experience with.
Go on, Andy.
Andy, you're looking very John Lennon-ish today.
Ladies
like
Oh, thank you.
Andy John.
It's literally just the glasses and nothing else.
No, it's the hair a little bit, the longer kind of.
I guess maybe. Travis encouraged that I wear these, I guess. But they are cool. I actually think this is a good choice round rim. I actually, not because of John Lennon, but because of my personal hero, Dr. Eggman. Who he wants to make the world a better place.
I haven't seen the new Sonic. Was it good?
The Sonic movie was actually, considering it's the Sonic movie, is way better than I thought it was going to be. And the second one looks good. I haven't seen that. I don't know if it's out yet, but it does look like it's not going to be as bad as you'd think. Pretty nice. And Jim Carrey is good actor.
I'm thinking Mace is thinking that his idea doesn't seem so wild now after hearing this information from Zombie.
Well, Mace was thinking,
sorry, what-
no,
I'm sorry.
I changed my mind. I think you should execute all criminals not upon a pre-trial. No
Just
trial
Judge
that
Dredd
needs
style.
No, I don't
to-
agree with
Sometimes
execution.
I'd like to get my hands on God. No, that's a different character. I don't know.
Someone in the chat asked, "Is every crime?" Oh wait, no, sorry, wrong one. Someone said, "Not all criminals are immoral. Some crimes don't warrant severe penalties," and I agree with that. Actually, I do think that some people who are in jail currently shouldn't be there. I think jail should only be reserved for people who we believe are a risk to society, and there's a good chance they're going to commit more crimes, and they need to be sectioned off.
It's true.
You know
would
what's
some of the-
really
would-
interesting? Like, in my jurisdiction, that's pretty much all that is left in jail.
Well, that's
And
good.
Been that way. Well, yeah, but other than now we have like a houseless crisis, and
Right.
overdose deaths have gone up 40% in the last year. Fucking gonorrhea and chlamydia and all these crazy numbers coming out because everybody's out there just getting high on their legal drugs and having sex unprotected.
Yeah.
Like we've had an increase of 33% in fatalities of motor vehicle accidents and people getting hit by cars in the last year.
Man.
Like,
Because of all the immigration from, that. Yeah.
I don't think it has anything to do with immigration. I think it
Andy's
has
just
to
being
do
a dick.
Okay, well, hey, nobody said that. I mean,
I don't even
that's just something
think
that's,
about
That's
that.
just something that Mace was telling me earlier.
Oh, Macy.
Sees Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah.
Parade.
So what's the are you saying more of these people are getting hit because there's more drug users on the street just running out into traffic?
I just think people are running amok. Like there are no consequences anymore to low-level infractions, and when I say low-level, I mean like burglarizing a house, or people are getting released with people that have handguns. They're getting arrested, their guns are getting taken away, and then they turn around and get released. So
Incarceration is not the only consequence that we can give.
oh, now we know what Mace is going to go next. He's going to say, turn and face them and shoot them with their own gun.
No.
Well, actually, he would most likely say, beat them to death with a billy club because you're not allowed to have guns.
Yes.
Constables, they're much more civil with the way that they brutalize criminals.
Hmm.
And
I'm
in,
sorry, I
and in
just have no
Canada, we just slap your ass to death with a beaver pelt.
you just say no. That was
Hey.
not very nice of you.
We were part of your whole beaver exchange too, right down here in the Pacific Northwest.
Yes.
I'm sorry that I just have no self-control and I just have to make fun of Ace for being English.
Mace has a seriously sexy voice.
See?
He does. I can't resist him. He turns me on.
Zombie, this is what we were trying to tell him about, like the whole online dating scene, and now you can send these voice memos.
I know.
But
I think
he's mentioned a confidence problem in his face.
Oh, it's true. Yeah, Mace, like, a lot of women would go for your voice.
Mace is a good looking guy.
100%.
You are also a good-looking guy, too.
And he's got a good personality, other than
Yeah.
he seems to think people should just get killed.
He has a good personality, and suddenly it just...
He has a great
He
personality,
has a
other
good
than this long
personality,
laundry
but
list
he-
of problems.
other than all the things about him that suck, but he's a great guy.
Yeah.
But no,
Actually, I'm interested, Zombie. What were you going to say before I interrupted you there?
I was gonna say that.
I have a good personality.
Sorry,
other than
sorry.
the
I
fact
got a
that
work. I got a
interrupt
phone
people.
call. I'm at work.
Yeah, no worries.
I had to actually do some work there. What was
Go
the
on,
question?
some Brooks.
What was the question?
What were you going to say before I rudely interrupted you?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I
were
haven't
saying
seen,
It's a
I haven't
regular-
seen your I haven't seen your bum yet, Macy, or else I'd tell you had a cute butt, probably.
Thanks. You said
Regular,
Grace has a good
That sounds like a
personality,
challenge to
except-
me.
love connection going on.
No,
right
I
now.
do not. I do not want to see his peach.
His peach. Is that
Well,
what?
'cause
Okay, wait. Is that what people mean when they send the peach?
Yes. Yeah.
Are you sure it's
Yeah.
okay? I think some people use that
No, it
differently.
means balls, Travis.
No, not balls.
Well, I think maybe it
I
means
think some
fuzzy,
I thi-
fuzzy things.
Well, I was gonna
Well,
say
I-
I think some women use it to mean vagina.
No.
Do
I
they?
mean,
I think so.
I mean, I guess
No,
maybe.
that's not what the peach means.
Oh.
Peach is definitely us. I don't know what cherries mean though. What does cherries?
Cherries are nuts.
Mean? Oh, but I see women use them all the time, and that confuses me.
Am I wrong?
Like,
You could just send a cat emoji.
Wait, what's the cat emoji
a
for?
sweating cat emoji.
Sweating
pussy?
cat emoji.
A sweaty pussy. Yeah.
Jesus.
I don't know if there is a sweaty cat emoji.
Okay, look,
but-
Doolittle. Hey, look, Doolittle. Doolittle
Oh,
says peach
okay.
definitely means vagina. See? And then he
Oh.
also says cherry means hymen. Okay.
No, see, that's what I
Oh
would
my
figure.
Because
Because the
Well,
I
phrase,
think he's-
my mom is gonna love
maybe
this.
there are multiple meanings to these emojis.
Yeah.
It means whatever you know it means in your heart.
There is an emoji dictionary. And I'm going to go to it and see what the peach means.
Really? And it gives you like kind of
Mace.
the urban dictionary side of it too?
Yeah, I guess.
Nice.
Peach.
Base, do you think that people who use emojis should be executed?
Shit, I
Because
do
that's
that.
Yes.
Yes.
they should be
Cool.
executed with extreme prejudice.
They should be executed to the fullest extent of the law.
Love it. Interesting. Yeah, emoji language in dating. And so they created
modern
emoji.
Send
pictographs.
Emojis is a bad idea.
Well, I
You
think
sent me emojis.
I think there are multiple meanings because actually,
You reacted with emojis to things we were talking about earlier today.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're not dating, so I don't
Yeah,
care.
he's talking about to he's saying to
You're not?
girls. Sorry,
I thought I was
Zom-
at least a contender.
you're always the number one contender, Andy. We all say that. Zombie, what were you saying?
well, I mean, I know there's multiple meanings to these emojis because, like, in kind of and mine it did say butt for peach on the one I just looked up.
Right.
But like in the line of work that I do, there are a lot of emojis that are used, and there's even kind of a subculture within that group with emojis.
Oh.
Oh, like they use it as like code.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Well, yeah, with the emoji code that Travis uses all the time is a cheese pizza.
And so the cherry has 3 meanings.
Does that have any meaning or significance?
The pizza slice?
the pizza no, the cherry has 3 meanings. It's
Okay.
breast, testicles, and virginity.
Oh, okay. Breast.
It
testicles,
means
and
breasts
Too many
and
meanings.
testicles.
Yeah.
That's
Chesticles.
yeah.
So
Yes.
the cherry is the he, she, they version of emojis.
The cherry is
the pronoun, the he,
Okay.
the he, she, they version of emoji. So now instead of saying he, she, they, or she, her, whatever I want to have to say at my meetings at work, I can just say I'm a cherry.
Wow.
Doesn't that leave it up for, because it could mean breasts or testicles?
They should just call me cherry then. They should just call me cherry then.
They should.
I'm curious about, does it ever mean both or all three?
Andy, you have this newfound appreciation after having some conversations, I believe it was, about gender pronouns.
Are you talking?
Do I? What?
Didn't you mention? I think you mentioned you used to be kind of more like, oh, what the fuck's the big deal? But you.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I used to, because I did also go through a conservative phase, and I used to kind of into Jordan Peterson, and I used to think it was really cool when he was like, I'm not using your words. That didn't sound like him. I'm sorry.
It's
But
pretty close.
I'm not using your words, man.
That was better.
they're my words. I don't know. But
Let's get Jolly to do the impersonation.
Oh no, I don't want to go deaf. Okay, my ears already hurt from having this on my head for so long. But so I used to take a stand with that, and I used to be like, the idea of, oh, they're mentally ill. Like, I used to have like that really cruel perspective on it. Peterson, I do think, kind of still had a point about Bill. But I feel like people kind of misconstrued his feelings on transgenderism, at least at the time. I don't know what it is now, based on what he said about that specific bill. But yeah, I think if somebody wants to go by certain pronouns, yeah, I'll use them. Like, I'm not gonna.
Jordan said that he would use someone's requested words so long as he doesn't feel like they're
just
making him do it to manipulate
exactly.
him.
Like, yeah,
well, I think it's
that
respectful to the other person, but I hope that they also respect if I don't feel like using a gender pronoun myself at a meeting, because that's kind of it's been going on here in my area for a couple of years now. And at first I was kind of taken aback when I heard it. And it was almost like they wanted everyone to define themselves. And I'm kind of like, I really don't give a shit whether you think.
Oh yeah.
Or woman.
I mean, names.
That annoys me.
Yeah,
that does annoy me, because I remember that was actually a thing my senior year in high school, at least in one of my classes, where at the beginning of the year you had to say your pronouns.
Oh
yeah, I don't think.
Instead of saying your fucking name,
you can figure that out for yourself.
Right, but
looking at me, maybe I'm not the best example, but if it comes up, I will tell you. I don't have to announce it beforehand. It could come up. Most people, it's not that ambiguous. I don't think that's necessary.
I'm kind of thinking when I go to retire, if I have one of those last meetings to go to, when they go around the table and we have to do our gender pronouns, I'm going to grab my boobs underneath and I'm going to sing, my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours. Damn right.
That could mean anything.
Yeah, sexual harassment on your last day.
I'm totally teasing Mace.
She does a kickflip
if a
on her
man
way
did
out.
that same thing but grabbed his cock, he'd be arrested.
And then I
helicoptered around?
Turn around and slap my peach a bunch of times.
A chick.
Slap your peach?
Yeah.
Which peach?
My peach.
Yeah, I'm not sure that would go over well. I think Nancy and HR might have a real problem.
By the way, Zombie, did you see them? Did you see the meme I recently posted?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you'll see it. It's like 1, 2, 3 up in the meme channel there.
Okay,
like,
I'll have to.
It's about this 10-year challenge. That's I thought you would enjoy that one. It's about this 10-year challenge thing that everyone does.
Oh
on
God,
Facebook.
I keep seeing that. The 10-year challenge.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
And it's totally like considered mean if you're like, oh yeah, you looked way better 10 years ago.
Okay, I'm gonna check this out.
Yeah, if anyone wants to know what we're talking about, you gotta join the Discord server. I'll drop the link for you guys again. Oh, that's not the right link.
Way to put the hook in the water, Travis.
Oh, there it is. Hold on.
Where's me?
Hold on.
Man, I really shouldn't have started smoking when I was 5.
Oh, I did see that one, Travis. I almost commented on it because I was like, "Oh, that's just so disgusting."
It is. that was like one of the most disgusting
Wait,
things
what?
I've scrolled by.
It's the donut.
Did you find the donut, Sandy?
Oh yeah. Have you seen that picture of it's Hillary Clinton with a much younger lady, and they're both holding donuts, and hers is like really wide open.
I did see that.
I think somebody posted that in
Put it
the
up.
meme tab.
Oh my god.
It was that fierce taint guy.
I
You-
guess
you
that
know a
would be
guy-
that would be his.
You know, a guy
I
with the
gotta
name
tell
Fierce
you,
Taint is gonna post something awesome.
These memes have been really good lately.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
there's some fucking
Elaine Maxwell,
You can't see
1961
the
to
memes on
next
the
week or
screen.
so.
Someone posted. I still think that's one of the funniest moments in history when Donald Trump had the native chiefs up there with him, and then he referred to whatever her name is, Warner, as
I call her Pocahontas. Yeah.
Warner Pocahontas, and he said that to the
We call her,
to the
yeah, we
Chiefs.
call her Pocahontas. And they were cool with it.
yeah, they didn't care.
No, they
actually think
they
that's-
agreed.
Like, that is the funniest fucking thing. I don't know why that kills me so hard.
Well, I
but-
mean, the whole thing about Elizabeth Warren was pretty hilarious because she wouldn't shut up about being Native American, and it turns out she is somehow less Native American than the average white person in America, which will tend to have some Native in their background.
Pocahontas.
And she was actually the first woman of color at some institution as a result of her claim. to
But
that,
how
which
could
is-
Trump say that in that setting? Like that just.
How does he say anything in any setting?
But that
He's in-
just
he
shows
doesn't
like
have
he
a
is the
filter.
king of trolling. Like, he's got no filter. He's the king of trolling. Like, that is like one of the funniest trolls and most absurd things I've ever seen. Like,
In hindsight, it's not all that surprising that he won in 2016 at all because he was entertaining and he was up against Hillary Clinton,
yeah.
and that's all you need, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really hope he doesn't run again. I'm kind of sick of him, honestly.
I think he's running, man. And
I really hope he doesn't win.
I do have this feeling he will win.
I really hope not. I really hope for my poor mother is gonna freak out. if he wins again.
How about Aaron? Remember Aaron? Like,
Oh God, Aaron.
Aaron, if you're
Yeah.
listening, we miss you, brother. It's like,
Yeah, Aaron. If
I
if
should
you're
not
if you're
have to deal with Republicans.
Aaron, you're the best, dude. I'm really glad that I don't annoy you too much.
I have to tell you a funny story. But when Trump won, I was in the Netherlands, and I was there for I had voted on an absentee ballot, and I was there for about a month, and I was shocked because I didn't think he was going to win, and I would go to these little cafes and hang out sometimes, and so I went to this one that I was going to quite often. and the day after, and they were just like, "You are American. Tell us, how could you elect someone who has golden showers?"
Because that is a confirmed fact about that, by the way.
They were so fixated on the fact that he
They were
pissed on
obsessed with that.
But by
Yes.
the way, we don't know that happened, but I was always very suspicious of his reasoning for why it couldn't happen. He said,
did he
I'm a
say?
germaphobe, and I'm like, let me tell you, being a germaphobe does not stop you from that.
That's so funny though. Like people are like so obsessed.
That's
with
all.
that.
That's all they could think of. And
They had. They have any proof at all besides something some guy said. They're just like, oh, Don should go and shower. Yes. Let me just get on that forever.
Yeah, like
And then
who's
Russia.
printing this shit?
Russia.
well, all he had to say was, I have athlete's foot, and I heard urine, gets rid of athlete's foot.
Yeah, so I hired a prostitute in Russia to do it onto me.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
real good. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I can't do it myself. That'd be gross.
Do you?
And my whole question is, how is this relevant to anything? You know,
It's
like,
not, Travis.
well,
That's the thing.
some people would say this shows that he has poor judgment. And it's like, well, what does that have to do with having poor judgment?
Yeah, it
like-
seems like fine judgment to me, honestly.
Yeah, he's doing what makes him happy. Who are you to judge?
Yeah, dude. Pursuit life, liberty.
As long as he's not
pursuit of
hurting anyone
piss.
else,
Yeah.
I say.
It's people
leave him
trying
be.
to
Life,
pass
liberty,
their
piss.
morals off.
Well, no. Why it is wrong? Why I would say it's bad is because, like, I guess he would have been married at the time. I don't know, but
Well, that's between him and his wife then, if that's the case.
Yeah, maybe
well, okay,
there was
look,
an
if
agreement.
if his wife was genuinely cool with it, then sure. But I assume that wasn't part of the accusation.
Hey, we don't know what their arrangement is. They may be in a polyamorous relationship, for all you know.
For a guy who's polyamorous, he sure gets divorced because he cheated a lot.
So true. Maybe he just wants Polly one way.
I think that's
I'm
just
down with
cheating.
Polly
I don't.
as long as it's just me.
He's
Yeah.
Not the
currently
case with all
poly
men.
my penis, my
insecure.
choice.
He's poly insecure, meaning he wanted to have poly.
Mm.
He's in the closet about it. He can't. Yeah, he can't. He's the victim, actually.
He's the victim.
And if his wife would just stop being so uptight, we wouldn't be having these problems. Have any kind of idea the stress this man is experiencing?
Oh man.
There are people who think that way. There are people who are like, I should be able to just cheat on my spouse, and they're the problem for not.
They signed up to be with me. They should be able to. They should want to do anything I choose.
I think there's a lot of cheaters out there.
Oh yeah, of course.
Maybe we should
Well, yeah,
recategorize it.
One of our co-hosts, not me, is a cheater.
Yeah.
Mace.
I'm not gonna
I'm
tell
not
you
Mace.
who, but it's not me, and it's not Mace, and it's also not you. I assume it's not me.
Is it me?
What gave you that idea? Look, I don't want to name names. But hey, it sounds like you got a guilty conscience. What's that about?
Oh, okay, I'll tell you. Well, polyamory. Yeah, I'm a monogamous guy, definitely.
Yeah, I'm pretty much
Surely
pretty
it's
much a
every
one-woman guy.
man's dream to be able to have a one-way polyamorous relationship.
Well, you can have that. Fine.
Like, isn't that like how the male brain is wired? That's just your nature, surely.
Okay, well, that doesn't make it your dream. Even if everybody had this burning impulse of I must cheat, and they're
No,
fighting it off.
I
that
mean
doesn't mean they
dream as in that's the ideal situation to be in.
Yeah, no, not for me.
Practice polygamy then. There's lots of women that'll go for it.
That's true.
No,
Although I
there
think in
isn't.
polygamy you're dedicated to the whatever women you're married to. You can't just go out and bone whatever you want.
Well, you can. Well, yeah, polygamy denotes marriage. Polyamory, I think you could just.
It
feel a little
depends.
bit more,
Yeah,
maybe.
it depends
I don't know.
what you set up. Some people have different agreements
Yeah,
in polyamory.
yeah. I mean, yeah, totally. That too. People just doing their thing. You could
Yeah.
probably find people who genuinely wouldn't mind about that. I mean, you could. You do. They exist.
Yeah. I think it's all of this stuff is just different kinks, like what people find pleasure in more than other things. It's like, oh yeah, polyamory, that's what I want. The next person's like, oh, I have a kink for monogamy because I like that. I like this idea of, it makes
That's
me feel
not
good
a
to dedicate to
kink.
one. Sure, it is. It's a pleasure
Yeah, some
kink, just
people-
like anything else.
I have a kink for being
Is it a
boring.
kink? Or is it
Yo,
people-
that would explain some things, Mace.
Is
I'm
it a
saying-
kink, or is it someone just chasing what they think is the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence because they're not dealing with their own issues?
I think sometimes it's that, but I think that still this is, I'm just saying like it's a pleasurable pursuit that is one out for someone as opposed to the other, right? The other options. So some people stick to monogamy. It's just like, yeah, I like the idea of just dedicating to one person. They like, it feels good. It's like, and the reason why I call it a kink, I'm just saying it's like a pleasure kink, the same way that like, having coffee instead of tea, you have a kink for coffee. As your
If
hot
my
drink
mother
of
were
choice.
to tune in
I
at this
would-
exact moment,
I would never describe enjoying coffee as a kink.
Yeah, obviously,
Hold on.
you're taking me too literally.
well, I mean,
I'm-
how
I'm-
are you
There's
drinking
this
it? Like,
third
is it with your
alternative.
mouth?
Exactly.
Or...
Are you pouring it in your beehole or what?
Hey, there's another alternative though, because I kind of feel like at least individuals that are saying they're poly are being honest. I don't necessarily think that it may be the healthiest of relationships always, but cheaters aren't being honest. I think it's a character flaw. And there's another alternative. You just stay single, and if you want to be a player, you're a player. If you want to be monogamous, you be monogamous.
Yeah.
But be truthful.
Yeah, but some people would disagree with you, right? They would be like, oh, I don't have to be truthful. I'm a man. I'm going to trick a woman into this position, and she'll believe that I'm being, honest with her. But I think it's better that a man should be able to just go out and do whatever he wants.
Well, I mean, I kind of
That's
feel
ridiculous.
like I should be able to go out and do whatever I want, so I got a divorce.
Yeah, there you go.
Exactly.
But yeah, you would say, get a divorce, where other people would say like, oh yeah, maybe this phase will go away, so I'm just going to cheat for a while and then see if it goes away.
Yeah, no, that's
But
that's
then
awful.
you're breaking the
dysfunctional.
terms of the
Of the contract, of the
relationship.
agreement. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it's dysfunctional too. Like,
You need to communicate with your partner and say, look, I'm going through this phase where I'm kind of losing interest in you, and then
Right.
discuss where to go forward from there.
Yeah.
I've never experienced that, as I haven't experienced many things in this regard. But that sense of betrayal, I'm sure, must be just brutal for the person getting cheated on.
I think that most of them would not share that because they're afraid of what the consequences will be, and they always seem to fall back on financial issues, meaning, they know that they're going to get their fucking ass handed to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, divorce is a problem. It is like a hassle that I guess a lot of people would avoid.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yep.
Couldn't you say the same about marriage?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah,
I
but
think
the
that
problem
people
is
Look,
if you
I
like,
think
yeah, so the difference between, like in Canada, between marriage and common law, there's not much difference when it comes to settling the legal assets when things
Right.
don't work out. So it's if you want to like live with someone, eventually you're going to be common law, right?
Right.
And
I think
so,
it's 10 years here in my state.
oh, it's
It's the
so
same
short
thing.
in Canada, like
Oh, really?
in
I really
BC.
don't think I really don't think you have to get married, honestly. Like if you want to get married, that's fine. Uh I think it's perfectly legitimate if people, love each other and they're committed, they just don't get married.
Right. I
It's
think you're right.
2
Like, they
years
don't
in
need a piece
BC.
of paper.
Yeah, 2
2
years in
years?
BC. Yep. You live with someone for 2 years, you're considered common law.
Holy crap. 2 years can go by pretty quick. I wonder how
Well,
many
I mean,
common law COVID people are out there.
for a lot of
Yeah.
guys, 2 years is probably sounds like a death sentence. So, because there are a lot of people who I'm sure that level of commitment, even though it is only 2 years, but to them that would seem like a lot.
I know
Yeah.
that like we get fed this idea that it's guys, that more are more trend this way, but I think it's the same. I really do.
Yeah.
Like I think women struggle with this same thing as well, just as much. Just in general.
Everyone's afraid or a bit nervous about some degree of responsibility or
Don't you think
commitment.
if you just have good communication between the two of you, you shouldn't really have to worry about what everybody else around you thinks?
Yeah.
So like you
Ideally,
just kind of move towards the common goal of what the two of you think as the ideal relationship.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think you got to nail down. I say this a lot. It's a big part of my book because I see a lot of, suffering born out of this, but people not focusing when they're looking for a long-term partner, not finding someone first, who they're actually sexually compatible with, and then going from there to see if more can be born out of that. People are trying to go like, oh, I found someone who likes hiking and doing some other things that I like doing, but like they haven't really dialed in the sexual the sexual chemistry part of it, and they're not really fit there, and like those relationships seem to never work out. I just and I mean that in the same sense of like, even if sex isn't a big issue to someone, they should find someone who sex is not a big issue to them as well. I think that's just a recipe for failure, disaster, suffering if people are not with someone that they're sexually compatible with.
That's a problem I wonder if a lot of people who wait until marriage have.
Oh yeah.
Where
of course.
like they're really fundamentalist, and they don't want to commit this great sin of having sex before marriage, but then maybe they get married and then they find out that there's zero, like it's almost like it's a different species. Like that must be really harsh, but maybe their amount of love for the person and dedication to their beliefs, maybe that helps in the matter. But
yeah, I mean, it just doesn't work out. Like this is why we have such a bad success rate of long-term relationships. It's just, I think one of the key reasons is that people, they don't spend enough time trying to figure out what kind of, sexual being they are, and understanding the things that make them happy in that regard. And then they try to kind of get into a relationship with someone that they share interests with and try to like enforce or promote their sexuality to that person and hope that they can receive it and satisfy it. Whereas really I think they should be more upfront with that right off the bat and find someone who they're compatible with. Cause I like someone who is not, and this is an example I use all the time, someone who has a scat fetish, which is literally incorporating human shit into your, your sexual acts. That person needs to be with someone who is into that thing in order to be happy in a relationship. That's my claim. You're not going to turn someone on to scat play who doesn't have that kink fundamentally at the core of their sexual, being, if you want to call it that. It's just not going to happen.
Why do you always use scat play? It's so
I know.
disgusting.
Well, I use it. I know. I use it because to us, we can all sit here. If you don't have it, like you're not just going. Like you think it's disgusting if you don't have that kink. So it's like you have to find someone with that kink. And I'm not gonna.
Oh God, I'm gonna.
I think you're
I'm gonna
just
hear
talking
about
from
this later. I
personal
wonder.
experience.
Well, Mace, would you make the argument that someone who does not have the scat kink could be turned on to it by the right partner?
Sorry, you misunderstood my joke.
Oh.
What do you-
Oh,
I'm-
you're
I'm
talking
sorry-
about my
I'm sorry, what
personal
was that?
experience with scat
I'm saying
play?
it sounds like you're so hung up about this.
You do
poo
come off as
fetish
very
thing.
like driven and dedicated to this, Travis.
No, I think it's I truly think it's important.
Because it
I think
affects you
there's
personally.
and you can take that and you can take that and extrapolate it out into other acts like Mace. Would you ever be in a relationship with a woman who refused to give a blowjob?
Is that the only thing
Sure.
she's refusing? I mean, it could be doable.
Yeah.
Depends
So
on.
there
I
you
mean, it's not ideal, but
Yeah.
there's gotta
Well,
be-
wait a
But you
minute.
believe
Wait a
it's
minute.
doable.
First of all, Mace,
It
would you ever
depends
be in a
on-
relationship with a
depends-
woman?
Depends if you make up for that in other areas.
But it's like and for me, I would say no. So it's like that's a hard no for me. And
I think I would.
yeah, so there you go. But I'm saying people should seek to introspect on this and sort this stuff out before finding their if they want to have a long-term life partner. They should try to sort this shit out. And I know that not everyone's going to have all the experiences they need to sort the stuff out, but I'm saying err on that side of doing your best you can to find someone who's sexually compatible.
Well, and that's why I say communication's critical,
Yeah.
because you have those conversations and don't expect it to always be in agreement and alignment with what you want, but then you make that decision, your cost benefit analysis of whether, Pangburn can't live without a blowjob, but Mace might be able to.
Exactly.
Well, I've
The
gotta
only
be
thing
honest,
Mace
it
can't live
probably-
without is a spot of tea in the afternoon.
It
Spot of
probably
tea.
that probably wouldn't be like a lifelong relationship because I would struggle. It would have to end eventually.
Well, this is what I'm saying. I'm talking about finding a lifelong partner for the people that want to do that. It's and then that's what I'm talking about. Like if this girl's like, I want to be your lifelong partner, but I'm never gonna give you a blowjob. You think you're gonna be
That'd
able to
probably
last
be
through
a
that?
straight up no.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
but then remember, people do change. Like, she could then go her other direction from Mace, and go out there and learn how to suck cock like a cock monster. And then if Mace hits her up again a few years later, and he's a happy camper.
There you go, man.
And this story.
I'm
This way.
very very concerned about the potential ramifications of this.
What are those ramifications?
I mean,
I'll ram your
Probably.
ramification.
probably nothing. Probably just
Andy's worried
Yeah.
his family's watching.
Oh,
really only just
you are
Really-
18 or over, right, Andy?
I'm 20.
Oh
Yeah.
God, fuck! Scared me for a
Really?
minute.
I'm really only I'm glad it's a question though. Hopefully I maintain that youthfulness. But
I'm gonna take a quick call, so I'm gonna put it.
All right.
I'll be gone for a minute.
Cool.
Why don't you wear Morpheus glasses? That'd be so cool.
If Andy was wearing more,
those are the ones that don't even have the.
Yeah, just the ones that you just put them on your nose.
I watched. I feel like that'd be uncomfortable because they need to be all tight. They need to be pinching your nose.
Yeah, no, but
something has
then
to be keeping them on,
yeah, I think it might be
unless
clip-on,
they make
but
them sticky.
Hmm.
I watched the original Matrix all the way through for the first time a couple days ago.
The original?
Yeah,
Oh, dude,
on Hulu.
I love.
I think they have all of them
films.
on Hulu.
Yeah, I love those films.
It
all
was
of them.
pretty good. It was interesting because it was one of those forms of media where I knew the references to it, but I didn't know the source material. So when I watched it, there were things that looked familiar because I've seen them in other like shows or movies that reference them comedically.
Right.
Also, I've seen like clips of it. The Matrix is one of those movies that really connects with conspiracy theorists. Like they really identify with it. They feel like it has some hidden message, and it's the same
maybe
thing with the
because it's a
Truman Show.
movie about a conspiracy.
Well, well, yes, but also because the world is a lie and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the conspiracy.
Yeah, but it's kind of okay. You know what, Mace? Never mind. Okay.
Mace is just grilling your balls.
Zombie left, our uninvited guest. I noticed
Oh,
you didn't. I hope we
thought,
didn't.
I thought you secretly invited her.
No,
I really
not at
do
all.
like. I really do. I really do like her though.
Yeah, she's awesome.
But I did notice, Travis. You didn't mention that she had to go, but you mentioned Wise Ape. I really hope you didn't hurt Wise Ape's feelings.
No, I know. I was. We were sorting things out because, like, when we were starting off, it was just going to be Andy and I, and we were trying to finish with that, and yeah, Wise, if you're listening, it wasn't because of you. It was just the timing, and I thought I had disabled the chat so no one else could come in, but I think yeah, I'll have to figure out. I'm not doing something with the settings correctly.
Is he a moderator?
I don't think so.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Because
I'm sure moderators are able
moderators
to
can bypass any restrictions you
Oh,
put. But,
well, that makes sense. Zombie.
by the way, the third time he went in, that was just me trolling. I moved in.
Oh, did you? Oh, you
Yeah.
dick.
Regular trickster.
What a dick.
All right, gentlemen, we have about an hour
Whatever's-
left, right?
Welcome, Soldier of Science. Welcome, welcome. Oh, Amy's in the chat. Hey, Amy. Yeah, Happy New Year to you, Soldier.
You guys like to hear some fun facts about Adolf Hitler?
Yeah, let's do it.
Fun facts. Maybe fun is not the right. Anyway, I'm already in trouble. So a gunshot wounded skull fragment that a lot of people thought was Hitler's was found in 1946, and it was believed to be the evidence, one of the bits of evidence that he did in fact die.
The Russians lied about it. They said it was
But-
Hitler's skull, but we later found out it wasn't.
Yeah.
Hitler's skull was
In
never found.
2009.
Hitler's body
In
was never found.
2009?
There is no evidence that Hitler was killed that day.
Yeah, in 2009, it was found that this skull fragment actually belonged to a woman. Oh, we're presented with two options here.
I'm thoroughly
was a
Adolf
woman.
Hitler.
No,
yes!
I'm thoroughly
Hitler,
convinced
Adolf
that
Hitler survived, or Adolf Hitler was a woman. Those are the only two options.
Yeah. Hitler
I'm
was a
Neither
woman.
one.
Get over it,
Neither
Mace.
one. You don't want to admit what it might
honestly,
mean.
I don't think Hitler is the sort of person to commit suicide. I am thoroughly convinced the Russians
You
captured
might-
and tortured him.
You might be right about that, but as a kid, I don't even know, because I remember reading about this. And I mentioned it a bunch of times, so I'm afraid it might be wrong. But I think he had suicidal ideations as a kid.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
could change as an adult.
Yeah,
but-
you have to understand that Hitler knew that if he was captured, he was just going to be put to death anyway. He in his last memos, in his last notes, it was quite clear he wasn't going to give them that satisfaction, right?
Well, yeah, I think I remember hearing he was afraid that his body was going to get dragged through the streets or something, which is what happened with one of his buddies, like Mussolini or something, right?
Mussolini, yeah.
But isn't he also afraid of dying?
I don't
Perhaps.
think so. At that point, no.
But in
Death
that,
doesn't
if
seem to
he's not
scare him because
if he's not
he seems
afraid
to
of
revel in
dying,
it.
if he's not afraid of dying, why doesn't he do any of the fighting?
Well, I think he sees himself as so important to the cause, right? He needs to stay alive for the cause.
Here's another thing.
And he was a soldier, right?
You think he would be so
Oh, yeah,
scary
I suppose.
if well, interestingly,
That was a
it looks
different
like
war, though.
Yeah, a different war.
interestingly, it looks like
At
his
the end,
his,
at the end of that war, he was shot in the testicle, and
his career as a
you'd
soldier,
think that
it
would
doesn't
that
seem
would
like it was
his
that
life
impressive.
probably flashed before his eyes, and he probably realized
Right
he
in the
was afraid
dick.
of death at that point.
Yeah, that would suck. Taking a bullet to the testicle.
Yeah, it was a British sniper.
Do you think the sniper decided, like, they were just like, they were like, I'm gonna end him, and then they're like, you know what? I want him to suffer.
No, it's well known the snipers were just trolling.
Really?
Yeah, the sniper was certainly skilled enough to hit him in the neck. He
Right.
chose to go for the bollocks.
This is another thing I learned. His last name could have been, if things had gone a little differently, his last name could have been Schickelgruber. He could have been Adolf Schickelgruber,
Oh God.
because his father was born out of wedlock. So for a while, he had his mother's last name, Hitler's grandmother's last name, which was Schickelgruber. But then he adopted his stepfather's last name, which was not Hitler, it was Heidler. And then for some reason, Heidler on legal documents got changed to Hitler. For unknown reasons.
God, that's complicated.
Isn't Hitler just the English translation of his name anyway?
I mean, I got this off Britannica, Encyclopedia Britannica. I feel like maybe they would have said that if that was simple, because they did say for unknown reasons, for unclear reasons, it got changed. But maybe he thought it sounded tougher.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Those of you who aren't part of our Discord server, I just dropped you the link again. Please join us there. We do have a war tab where all of the most interesting clips and documentaries I find regarding Hitler, the Nazi regime, and World War II, World War One, I drop in that tab. So,
and Travis often watches things about Nazis and things about Hitler because he personally. Well, I mean, I'll leave that up to the imagination. Actually, not to bag on you too hard, Travis, but one of the things that I did also learn was in 1936, the winner of the 1935 Nobel Peace Prize was a journalist named Karl von Ossietzky, who was a vocal critic of Hitler. So Hitler barred all Germans from receiving the Nobel Prize, and he replaced it with his own prize. And do you know what he called it?
what?
He called it the German National Prize for Art and Science. So it looks
Let
like
art and science inspire.
yeah. So it looks like you guys have similar thinking, at least in that one respect. You know? It makes you wonder about what else you might have in common.
Yeah, I see the web
Perhaps.
you're spinning here. You have a future in journalism.
Oh, he admits it.
Well, Mace, I think we might let you go, brother. But
Are
thanks.
you asking me to leave, or are you saying I can if I want to?
I'm asking you to leave. No, we're gonna wrap things up here, but we'll see you down in the tab.
Oh, okay.
Okay, peace, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much, Mace. You've been a pleasure.
Mace Starwalk, everybody.
Okay, don't even say you love me. All right.
I pulled him out before he could.
Oh wow. Okay, so you're the Malvolio to this story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, cool, man. What else did you have? Did you have anything else, Andy?
Well, I also looked into interesting things that also happened on this date.
Okay,
January
yeah.
11th,
Hit me
this
up.
day in history. In 630, Muhammad conquered Mecca on this day. Which is interesting because I know you have a lot of things in common with you look up to Muhammad in a lot of respects. I know that's correct, at least with his views on child marriage. And in 1569, they had the first recorded lottery in England. Interesting because I feel like I kind of won the lottery. That this is something I'm doing. And then this is something that I thought was funny. Sounds made up. In 1759, that was when they had the first life insurance company, and it was called the Corporation for Relief of Distressed Presbyterian Ministers and of the Poor and Distressed Widows and Children of the Presbyterian Ministers. Or as I like to call it, that was the whole title, or as I like to call it, the CRPD WCPM.
That's insane.
Then in 1787, William Herschel discovers 2 moons of Uranus, which I could make a joke about, but I feel like that's beneath me.
It's too obvious.
I was hoping Uranus had the most moons, but it does have 27, and they're all named after Shakespeare and Alexander Pope characters, but it actually comes in 3rd after Saturn and Jupiter.
Interesting. Soldier of Science says, Andy, when was the last time you played live with Smashing Pumpkins?
I'm not sure what that's a reference to. I feel like I should. I'm sorry that I don't.
Let me pull up the band pic and see who he's referring to.
Who I do think, because I didn't know about the association with John Lennon, if he's commenting on my glasses, but I did think these glasses are the same shape, not the color, of a singer in a band, I think called Oasis.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah,
That's
the Smashing...
Wonderwall.
Oh, yeah, Smashing Pumpkins back in the day. Yeah, I see what he's getting at. Deafs.
This is sexism, according to Mace Starwalk.
That's amazing.
I'm sorry, Mace, that we're part of the patriarchy.
Yeah.
Oh, I think he's mad that we're not in the tavern yet. Maybe. we kind of pulled a. We'll play catch with you at home from work, son, on Mace, and he's sitting out on the porch with his mitt.
One day, son, I'll teach you how to play. That day.
See you in a couple.
That day
weeks
never came.
Send Mace to the tavern and then not follow.
We did, yeah.
But he's still in this
No,
chat.
no, Travis did. I'm just an innocent bystander, and we are going to join him eventually.
Andy made me do it. No, I think we will. I think we will wrap it up for today. This was the first Pangburn Show episode. Special thank you to Andy. Right on, man. Great stuff. Can't wait for number 2. Thanks Zombie and Mace for stopping by. And we will be live again on Thursday. Let me just double check schedule. We got Zemo doing a conversation tomorrow, which we will be live again. Again, you guys have to go over and subscribe to the Pangburn Offensive channel, just so you don't miss any of our live streams, because we won't be going live on this channel that we're on right now until we get the monetization issue sorted. So just search on YouTube the Pangburn Offensive and you'll find the channel. So make sure you're subscribed there. Make sure you're subscribed to the main channel here. We're only about 60 subscribers away from 100,000. So please do subscribe. And Andy, do you have anything?
I just want to say thank you for all the wonderful people who might be watching this and who will see this. And I want to know that I love each and every one of you, and you're all special in your own way, and you can do anything you put your mind to.
Mr. Rogers, everyone.
Thank you. Oh, and Mom, sorry.
All right. This has been the Pangburn Show, and let art and science inspire. Thanks, everyone.